Welcome to Hurrdat Sports Live.
And a high fly ball. That's driven deep to right center. It's back there. She is gone. Home run, Roman Anthony. Number 1. Red Sox quickly on the scoreboard.
And this ball is lifted to left center field. Deep. Got a chance. It's gone. He's done it again. Tie ball game. Courtesy of Hunter Goodman.
Pull off the end of the bat into right. Dustin Mercer reaches out. Can't make the catch. Damon scores, and it's 3-0 Razorbacks. He's getting his third look at Gage Wood, whose 2-2 pitch is caught on and missed. 14 strikeouts for Wood. That's right. Now the three-man Carson Garner. First pitch swinging, stabbed by Robinette. Inning over. Gage Wood's 0-2. Sweet 16.
Good morning. Welcome in Hurrdat Sports Live, presented by Centris Federal Credit Union. That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla here at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill. What's up, DB?
How we doing?
Oh, we're doing all right.
Yeah, I concur. Every day you try to put one foot, Ravi, in front of the other.
I do, yeah. Even though I don't like walking that much, you gotta. It's better than the alternative.
The struggle's real. We keep pushing and we grind a little bit. Just grindy.
Keep on pushing. We got Headley Lamar is going to Des Moines this morning, or he's in Des Moines.
What is in? Excuse me. What is in West Des Moines?
I have no idea.
Besides Jethro's Bacon.
I've never been there. I've been to West Des Moines, not to Jethro's.
Well, there's several, so you have to. For the locals, you have to specify.
Oh, okay.
There's Jethro's Bacon. There's just regular Jethro's. Then you go a little further, closer to a little bit past Ankeny.
Okay.
Almost to Adventureland.
I know Ankeny.
You get the real Jethro's, which has the smoked ribeye. There's several little variations. So I have made the mistake of thinking they were all very similar.
Are they all like different styles of restaurant?
Yeah. The menus are all slightly different. And Jethro Bacon is probably what I would, if I was going to do breakfast. The regular Jethro's in Des Moines, I would not probably recommend. The one closer to Adventureland, I would. I hyped it up because T-Mose and I were coming back one time from Adventureland. We'd taken Caleb and CJ and some of the boys, and it was amazing.
Yeah.
As one time at CJ, who was probably, I don't know, 5th or 6th grade, ordered a ribeye. And I was like, yeah, okay. You better eat it. And like 5 bites in, he was full.
Yeah, of course.
That was the time I infamously tried the Adam Amenecker, which is the biggest sandwich maybe in America. No, it's really not, but it's...
Big Drake Bulldog guy?
No, but the sandwich has every meat I would like except for the pulled pork, which I pulled off and ate separately. I did not finish the sandwich. Cut it in half, ate it with a knife and fork. It's in a very big sandwich. It is considerably bigger than the Meat Mountain, which I've ordered just to be ordering from Arby's. True. So yeah, what else do I like anything else in what we normally eat? I don't know. It's not that great of a nuanced restaurant place. Plus I always stay in the same 2-mile radius and we go to the same destination.
Yeah.
So you kind of eat.
Kind of a creature habit.
Yeah, and it's not far enough away where you're like, ooh, I'm going to go have that. Yeah. Like I wouldn't go to like, I kind of take that back. There's a couple places out west.
Like Western Nebraska?
Yeah, that I would drive to that are only like, 3 hours.
Mm-hmm.
But I wouldn't go to Des Moines just for the restaurant scene.
Yeah. I don't think it's a...
It's a lot quicker drive than I thought, especially when I lived on that side of town.
Sure.
Like when I was on the 680 side, no problem.
Just hop, skip, and a jump.
Now it seems like it's a little further.
A lot going on there.
Yeah.
Adam Amenecker might be the worst conference player of the year of all time.
Statistically?
Yeah.
I'm probably not going to argue that. As big product of what Drake was doing, though.
Yes. And,
So-
he was really important to what they were doing. I get that.
Yeah.
But if you're just looking at
Like prowess.
what happened?
Have you seen the sandwich?
No, Jethro's?
No.
Oh.
The Adam Emenecker. Just,
Oh, no. Okay. I'll look it up.
And his last name's spelled almost exactly like it sounds. And then just hit the old sandwich. Just click on images and.
Oh, we got it right there. Boom.
Yeah, that doesn't do it justice, but you see the price.
Yeah. That's aggressive.
Yeah.
Got a lot going on there.
Oh, it's
Ironically, way more going on than his game had.
did not finish that.
I mean, that's pretty aggressive. I can see that.
Yeah, I wasn't even messing with waffle fries back then.
Oh, I love waffle fries.
Yeah, they're not good.
I mean,
Not good.
just because you don't like them doesn't mean they're not good.
You like, you need a lot of crisp and all that. Like
They're hard to get
consistent-
right.
yeah,
I'll
the
give you it's hard to get right.
They are.
But when they are right, they are good.
They. So, like the seasoned ones or the regular, like just.
I like seasoned ones.
Okay.
Give me the seasoning.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not trying to get some
Who's the fast food place that has?
Chick-fil-A,
Okay.
but theirs are plain. They don't have seasoning on them. They're just.
Are they supposed to be good?
A lot of people like them.
Do they?
I think they're fine.
They have good crispness to them?
Not really, not enough for me.
No.
It's they're pretty basic in my opinion. You can get
They're a little bit more potatoey than.
That's exactly the word I was going to use, Shane. They're a little more potatoey than I prefer.
My man just chimes in like Big Ben, don't he?
He was on time that time. I'm impressed.
Getting better, Shane. All grown up.
Well, I don't want to interrupt, so.
Justin's
Continue.
right. They get soggy way too fast.
What? Which ones?
The Chick-fil-A ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you had the Chicago dog yet here?
I haven't.
Somebody sent me a picture
I
the other
haven't.
day. It was legit.
It looks really
looked good. I don't. But you know what's funny?
I'm not a huge
I'm
Chicago dog.
I'm not a busy hot dog guy.
I'm not either.
But it
is tempting though.
I told you though, like I do enjoy a good hot dog.
Yeah.
Like.
I know they're not your go-to at a cookout because I took some strays for that one, but a good hot dog.
A lot
really
of that
good.
was your own fault. It was how you described the choice.
Well,
Because I had to walk you through the whole. It's easy to mess up a hamburger.
Really easy.
It took way too long to land the
I
plane because
mean,
that part I agreed.
it
with.
all
But
makes sense in my head.
When you start with 100 out of 100 times, I'm taking the hot dog.
I
was
am,
like,
man. You don't know what people are doing.
you hadn't said, but if it's a good burger, we had to like get through that.
Yeah.
Process. So I mean, as soon as you said that, everybody went in.
I also don't really prefer the way, I don't prefer grilled burgers. I want it on a flat top.
Yeah, see, that's a problem.
I mean, I want a flat top.
I had that great debate a couple weeks ago, which of course I let Micah win. But he prefers remember I said this? Like he's a flat top burger guy.
I prefer the flat top for a burger.
And I'm like,
here's the problem. You get too much of the fire, smoke, charcoal, whatever you're cooking it with taste on a grill.
there are subtleties though, my guy. Like
I want to taste the beef.
Yeah, you probably are messing with people that like use match light and stuff.
I don't know, man.
I don't use any of that.
I stopped asking those questions. I just got the hot dog instead.
You're a fool. In the I'm Over It segment.
Yeah.
On ESPN on the way over.
What's my guy mad about today?
They were making fun of him, and this is me,
Mhm.
and it's my mom too. I actually probably got it from my mom, and it morphed into something else that was kind of funny. Pat's a big fruit guy.
Okay.
I used to love fruit, right? Like that was my jam. And
You're not really messing with those carbs anymore, but
it's more the sugars.
yeah. I mean,
Right.
sugars are carbs.
But I'll mess with berries sometimes.
Yeah.
And Zoe loves strawberries.
Blue,
And
straw, grass.
Caleb's a big fruit guy. Micah is out. And it's like he doesn't like them mixed together. So they were getting on him about like the price buying individual
Mhm.
fruits and berries. He's like, I just don't get down like that. Michelle was like, oh no, you just get the mix, whatever. And sometimes when my mom doesn't feel like shopping or something and I take her to the grocery store, like she'll settle. And I'm always like, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't get the mixed fruit. And they got into how everything tastes like everything. I'm like, yes, correct. And then the greatest take of all time happened.
What's that?
The overratedness of honeydew melon.
Oh, I agree there.
I mean, and Canny was the only one. No, I agree. I agree, Headley, that especially the standalone Jethro's is barely top 5. You get zero pushback from me. But the overratedness of the honeydew melon.
I would agree.
And even Michelle went in and she was like, it's like the filler. It's like it doesn't taste like anything. It's the bulky fruit that you use to give body to the. I'm like,
it's the iceberg lettuce of fruit.
Man, that's how I feel about cantaloupe too. Cantaloupe sucks.
I agree. I'm not a big melon guy in general. Like
You like watermelon?
It's okay. It's the best of that group for me, but
the dogs.
My dogs.
They like watermelon.
Yeah.
I just figured out it was good for you.
Yeah.
Well, for dogs.
It's mostly water, right?
I meant for the dogs.
So, it's just hydrating.
Good morning.
Good for 'em.
Good morning, Mr. Nelson. What is he talking about? What is Weenie Hut?
I have no idea. Weenie Hut Jr.?
Is it the place that's right off of 72nd and the interstate? No, that's not it. That has some long name. Wiener Schlonger?
Wiener Schnitzel?
I don't know. It's on almost like 72nd and Grover, maybe.
Ooh, I don't know.
Yeah, I
don't spend a ton of time in that
so
area.
Much has happened in that development area.
Yeah, it's like they've changed a lot over there, and I don't have a lot of there's not much for me to do.
That has the store over there where the guy asked me if I was looking for the THC drink.
Oh yeah,
I had no idea how booming that area was.
Oh yeah, the liquor store.
Yeah.
No, they've
just the area.
Yeah, it's changed a lot. No, but that's where you were at the liquor store.
Yeah.
That chair areas they've tore down a ton of stuff.
There's a lot going on. I remember, I was only there for like 8 months, 9. No, it was over a year, a little over a year. But that's the only time in my life that I have lived south of Maple until now.
Yeah.
And it was, and those Fox Run apartments, they weren't even sweet. I'd go back there now.
Yeah.
I mean, not to that complex, but that
area is way nicer now.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've done a lot with it.
I used to be terrified just to head a couple blocks east until I actually had the stones.
Yeah.
And it was kind of on a dare to go to this place. It doesn't even exist anymore, but to go to this place called Nino's.
Okay.
Which was just down the street from me, kind of tucked back in this little trailer park area. And the dude ended up being one of the coolest people I've ever met.
Really?
And, magician, former boxer. And across the street.
Yeah, it's Wiener Schnitzel.
Wiener Schnitzel. Got you.
Yeah.
And across the street was another sketch place.
Yeah.
Yeah. But now it's kind of a popular dive.
Yeah, it's sort of popping up now.
Yeah.
So
is it Poop Deck?
Yes, there's poop decks over there.
Yeah, that and so like a couple of the guys that I follow on TikTok did a burger there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man,
I've never eaten there. I've drank there. I've never eaten there.
And so that was right after I got cut. So that was probably 99, 2000.
Like 2000?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you ever go to
25 years ago?
Were you big tracks guy? Because that's like a mile east of there.
No, my brother liked tracks, but only for a few particular things. But people that like tracks swear by tracks.
Yeah, and they just opened one out west. But
the only time I've had tracks was during COVID,
really?
And it didn't
travel great.
No, I mean I'm going back to 142nd and State Street.
Yeah, that's a long drive for tracks.
During COVID, you didn't care. You picked up and got out.
No, I just mean for it to,
you know what I mean?
For it to hold up, I meant.
I was fresh off of watching Ozark. I was like,
need a little palate
I don't
cleanser.
smoke cigarettes, so I was like, ooh, boy, I need to exhale. I was like, is anything good going to happen in this show ever? This little dude is getting kicked out of class because he's educating teachers on how the drug trade stimulates the economy. Yeah. It was a random sequence in that movie that I remember because the little dude, I went from liking him to wanting to choke him to you're going to get this family killed to, okay, you're my guy again. And he had this, he was just a menace.
Yeah.
He's like, do you know what the GMP is? Teacher's like, yeah, I'm well aware. But then I got to thinking about historically over history how the drug trade has had a very profound impact on the nation's economies across the world, including the good old U.S. of America.
U.S. of America.
I don't know why I said that. I can't get over my voice, number one.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm just not vibing. But I'm
A little hoarse from the coaching.
I don't know. No, I barely said anything yesterday. Just little nuances.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's some.
How'd it go with the 7-on-7?
Oh, it was good.
Yeah.
We are 10:30 today,
Okay.
so we're hoping the weather holds. It's kind of a quirky schedule. If we win the first one, we sit for a while.
Yeah.
I think till 1 maybe.
Yeah.
So I'm already contemplating.
What to do?
Go home is going to be number 1, I think. Just kind of depends on Micah.
Man, you're not gonna be home for very long. That's
yeah, you
tough
know what?
part.
I just don't want to sit and be vulnerable.
From Bell West all the way out to the house though and back.
Well, listen, I'm the type of dude to go sit in my vehicle.
I could see that, but like going all the way home is rough from there.
You know, so
It feels like Millard South maybe because that's close.
Yeah, they looked
Bell
good
US
yesterday. I only saw. I was leaving when they got started. Millard North was just getting started.
Yeah.
Northeast is here.
Oh, okay.
The Rockets, because we only looked at our own pool.
Yeah.
So I wasn't quite aware. But,
Yeah, Millard North was playing Northeastern first, I think.
Yeah,
I think they were right off the bat.
And I think the one school we are missing is Central's not there.
Oh, okay.
Which that's
disappointing.
I'm looking forward to kind of getting some. They I don't know. They do a lot in the off season. They may be traveling. I don't know. I got to ask Abdul or Mackie, but you know, they kind of got a few new looks.
Yeah,
a couple new guys, and of course they've got Pittman and some guys coming back. So I wanted to see them. North was good. They surprised me a little bit at the quarterback spot. It wasn't too bad at all.
Mm-hmm.
They're and we opened with them. So I hope that they can't block anybody because
the skill positions look pretty good.
I mean, Darian is a menace.
Yeah.
That's
what Padilla was saying on Twitter yesterday.
Well, you know what's funny?
What's that?
Because I'm not on social. Matter of fact, I threw my phone down and I didn't touch it for, I don't know, apparently too long. It's 2 hours maybe, at least.
Mm-hmm.
And I go back to put it in Micah's backpack and it's giving me this overheating thing. But I knew when I grabbed it, it was hot.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, damn, wasn't this supposed to be a cool down? And then all of a sudden it was 90-some yesterday.
Yeah, it was pretty warm yesterday.
We missed that forecast? Maybe I should call the news station.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was supposed to cool down after the storms.
Well, apparently it's today.
Yeah.
But then I saw 99s coming up.
Oh, what?
Oh, man, I'm terrified.
Man, I'm not trying to.
Terrified.
Not trying to do all that.
So, yeah, he's. Oof. So I walked over. We hadn't even got to him yet. They were our second game.
Oof. Weekend looks rough.
And I'm just looking at him, and what is it?
It's 96, 97, 94, 93, 93.
Yeah, man.
So that's Friday through Tuesday. So that'll be fun.
Yeah, Coach Danzy, we were leaving, walking out, and I'm just a big fan. And he's over at Scott with Terman. And he's like, man. You gotta know his voice. I mean, he's a legend. And he's like, you're the only guy out here with these goddamn sleeves. I was like, damn. Hey, I'm not in the mood for small talk. I'm just like, yeah. But I did tell him the story. I was like, yeah, you ever heard of this guy, Mike Grant? Blah, 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 blah. I said it on the way to the car. I couldn't get out of there fast enough. But
as you're running out of there.
It was, no, it was good. It was smooth.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to talk to my guy. I might have to send him a message, Coach Huffman. The playlist.
Mm-hmm. Well, not great.
No, it was like the playlist was something like now he had some good songs.
Okay.
But I think one of them, I was like, dang, this should be my theme song. What's the song by Morgan Wallen where he was like, I think it's Morgan Wallen. I hate
Morgan Wallen guy.
I'm torn. I know I'm not supposed to be.
I mean, you can do whatever you want. I was just asking.
Well, didn't you ride with us to Indy?
Yeah.
Am I a big Morgan Wallen guy?
I don't remember.
Last night we.
Oh, I forgot that's him.
Yeah, I changed the whole words. But what's the song? No, that's funny again, huh?
I forgot that's him.
Do you know I really did think those were the words?
Oh, I was aware. That's why it was funny because, like, if it was a bit, it's like that's kind of funny. But
You're like, no, this guy's really just that stupid.
Not
Yes.
stupid. It was just it was
Actually,
funny that you were just like dead set that was the words.
Actually, I am. And
The funniest part-
Avery, of all people, who doesn't really seem to have a cruel bone in her body,
Oh no, she'll go in though.
just casually and she usually rides with me, right? She's like, yeah, those aren't the words. It's just her delivery. And I was like, it's like what, 8:30 by then?
Yeah.
And I'm like, damn.
Thank you.
Play the song again.
The funniest thing is, like,
I kept waiting
words-
for the words to come on that I sing.
that was funny, but also the words that you chose actually perfectly sum up the song.
Yeah, so after I was dead set on being right, I did appreciate how you tried to make me feel better by intimating it could be those words.
I mean, it really is. Like, that's the entire theme of the song. You just boil it down into like one line, which
Yeah.
is, I mean, kind of impressive.
yeah, I got it.
I forgot that was Morgan Wallen.
I can't think of the song though. You know, it's like where he's kind of the bad guy, but he can get there by himself.
Yeah, I don't.
You're not. So
I really don't like have a like. I may have heard it, but I don't know it's Morgan Wallen, and so
I think.
and I don't listen to hardly any country.
So I don't. You know, pop culture is not my thing.
Okay,
Pop culture is not my thing. Although I did.
I feel like you're better at it than you give yourself credit for. Like, you have,
It depends on the genre.
yeah, it's very like niche. Very like where it depends on where it is.
I couldn't sleep a wink last night. So do you know what your boy did? I didn't watch a bad movie.
Okay, that's what I was expecting.
I was scrolling through TikTok,
Okay,
and I always skip through the lives, and then I click
me too.
reset so I get it. But do you know what the live was this time?
what's that?
And I just happened to see a top 5 most overrated list,
Uh-oh.
and it was music.
Okay.
And the genre was kind of is in the hip hop culture. So
Mhm.
like the top 5, this guy had like J. Cole, DMX. I can't remember, but I'm like, and the tagline it was has never had an iconic or signature album, and I'm like, in my head, Josh, nothing screams 7 on 7. Like, man, Josh, you have no idea. But I didn't want to knock the hustle, but we're spoiled because when Battle did it, they would like bring in, like
Yeah, they
Houston
had
to
kinda
get
DJ.
DJs, and
Yeah,
it
yeah.
was like a party.
Yeah.
So I was messing with Sauter. I'm like, man, what are we doing with this music? I feel like, but some of the songs I was singing, like
Yeah.
the official, like on our sidelines. I mean, I was just kind of in a zone, standing by myself, and I caught myself singing Teddy Swims,
Oh, you love Teddy Swims.
Lose Control, and the official, bless his heart, he looked at me. Hey, he looked at me, and he just over his shoulder, he goes, "You good? You okay?" He hadn't said a word all day. I was like, "Oh shoot." I must have really just been singing, but like Teddy Swims.
Yeah.
I love Teddy Swims.
It's a weird 7 on 7 song.
Coach Forsyth goes,
It's a weird 7 on 7 song.
big Teddy Swims guy, DB. I was like, whatever, man.
Yeah, you love
It
Teddy
must have-
Swims.
It must have been a moment. But anyway, I walked over to
Rob says it's called "I Had Some Help." It's Post Malone and Morgan Wallen.
Had Some Help. Okay, I'll have to.
I don't know if that's right, but
He said Rush most overrated.
Well,
So
he's also said last night was the song. So
No,
you
I
think-
know. Yeah, we
last night was
arrived.
the song he was singing.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
It's a long story, Shane. I just was making up words, and I thought those were the words. It just seemed. I guess. So I was just gonna say.
They do fit.
I want to finish 2 quick thoughts.
Yeah.
Number 1. So I walked over because every time I looked up, Darian was scoring. I'm like, Fods, how the heck is this dude so wide open? But it wasn't against us, so I'm just kind of glancing over because
Yeah.
I was looking for. I wanted to say hi to Coach Martin, and I couldn't find him at first, so I just let it ride. I went back to probably doing what I was supposed to be doing, which was minding my own business, and look up, and he scored again. And like the first or second play, he had a nice catch against us. I walked. Most coaches didn't go over to the tent, but I had just gotten I'm 33 text from JB
Mhm.
in our group text.
Yeah.
So I said, happy belated birthday. And I was getting ready. I said, hey, man, happy belated birthday. He's like, oh, I said, man, Darian Jones is pretty okay, huh? And Jacob goes, yeah, he's pretty good. It's just typical. It's like he caught one ball. I don't know. This was the second game. It might have been against Scott. And he spun the ball in the end zone. He's like, man, you guys better stop playing with me. Like, that's how he is.
Just stays on it.
Yes. And it's just he and I were talking in the back of the end zone, and we were talking about the visit, and he's kind of got this real wiry frame, and he welcomed Micah to the Metro last Wednesday in passing league, and we were just talking about like how he kind of does what he does, and what his greatest, because you know what I like, what his greatest attribute, his physical attribute is?
What's that?
His body control.
Yeah.
Do you think that's a skill?
I think you can improve it. I think it's athleticism. I think body control is an athletic trait.
So I'm super weird.
Yeah.
Obviously. So I'm just standing next to him. I'm talking to him like a regular person, but in my head, I'm really sizing up what makes him who he is. Because you look at him and you're like, okay, long, lean.
But nothing like blows you off the
Not
page.
One singular thing, but his arm length is incredible, number one. The non-tangible is his competitiveness, which is at a high level. But it's his body control.
Yeah.
And he's incredibly smart. So I'm watching him on his, like, set guys up and using his body control. And I'm talking about offense.
Yeah.
I'm not even getting into probably what he's going to really play, which is defense. But it's his body control. It's a lot like what you like about Eli Johnson, who we haven't had yet.
Yeah.
Because he's coming off of surgery. But people wonder why Eli is so good. And I'm like, watch his body control.
So it's the thing I like about Pierce Mooberry too.
Yeah.
Really good body control.
Have you spent much time talking to Pierce? You know what you'd like about Pierce?
What's that?
Not a nice person.
A little mean-spirited?
Yes.
I would have guessed that by how he plays.
Yes.
Like, that's how I would have.
He's very matter of fact.
He seems like he likes hitting people.
But he's got that kind of that endearing little smile at first. But he's about business.
Yeah. That's honestly, so we were talking about this.
He's had a heck of a rehab.
Really?
Yeah. I'm not surprised that he gets after it, but
100%.
That
dude, I will die on that hill. That dude's going to be really good.
The most the two most of high profile programs. I say Omaha North and Omaha West Side. Two of the most under-recruited players in the state. Flipping.
Mo Purify?
No. Warren. Obviously, Quinn Warren.
Oh, yeah, I love Quinn.
Dude, Max Anderson up north.
Yeah.
I've told you about him. Big number 10.
Really good.
Ravi.
I don't think I've seen him.
I don't
think I've seen him.
He's so good. A kid that says things like, man, I don't know why we're hugging and dapping up guys before we play. Like, I've never been like that. I don't know. Who you think said that?
Yeah.
That would be Micah.
Yeah.
But in the car afterwards, we're like at the gas station. He's like scrolling. I'm like, what are you looking at? He's like, Anderson only has South Dakota? I go, what are you talking about?
For offers.
And he goes, he's the linebacker from North. So, yeah, because you remember how I went in last year about how good he was?
Yeah.
I was like, what makes you say that? And he goes, you watch him out there, like, for a big guy, his frame is perfect. I said, I don't know. Maybe it's I don't know what it is. I'm just throwing out these things. And Mike is like, man, recruiting sucks. I was like, yeah. It's a very inexact science. I mean, he's big.
Yeah.
He moves well. They got him playing some offense out in the open and he's extremely smart. I looked at him. I was like, man.
Well, we were kind of talking.
I've done this a long time. You are really good.
We were kind of talking about this yesterday with Sam and the difference, the difference between the first-ranked player and the 101st ranked player versus the difference between the 300 player.
He made that. There were some
400 ranked player.
Go back and listen to that.
It was good. Like there were some really good points there. I know some stuff got lost in like the Cortez Mills, Jeremiah Smith thing, whatever, but there was some really good stuff in there because, and honestly, I brought this up with, I think, Austin later. I was talking to him, but like Pierce Mooberry is a really good example of that.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's only so much you can do in terms of scouting if you're one of these organizations, right? And I think they do a really good job on the high end because they see them a lot. They get a pretty good feel for them, right? But once you get down past the first probably 100, 150 guys, it becomes kind of a crapshoot. And they do rely a lot on offers to understand where a guy's slotted.
It's why I've never, and I love guys in the industry. I do. Because I know they try to work hard and it's impossible.
And it's gotten
and I don't want to be
better.
the guy. I don't want to be the guy that has the advantages of actually seeing and then, folding my arms and like, oh, I don't know, you guys like, you know what I mean? You have to count on eyes on the ground and
you got guys like Tim who are really good at it. Like he's got a good eye.
Yeah.
And then but there's only so many of those guys. Per market, per region. Whatever.
Although I don't have a bone to pick with Tim.
You got a little point of contention?
Yeah, because it turned out to be the way that I thought.
Which one?
Because I was hearing some rumblings. Because this was Friday morning. We don't have to go here now unless we're just not taking a break. But
no, we can just blow through it.
Because we're so along the lines of the recruiting thing is hard, right? I do look at a guy like Max or Quentin or a lot of these guys. Eli Johnson is another one. They're just some guys.
Yeah.
I like, remember he's talking about Dallas. Who was talking about Dallas? It was Sauter over at Miller. There's just some guys that you see and you're like, man, these guys are pretty good.
Yeah.
But you have to actually watch them.
Well, and that's why.
But here's the funny thing.
Yeah.
It's exactly how I felt about a 5-star, high 5-star that rolled into Lincoln. Like I had to see Ahmad. I had to see him live to figure it out. Because when I'm watching all the other times, I'm like, he's good, but I kind of it's good.
Yeah.
It's not. I'm not gonna
for a guy that's considered a 5-star.
So that's what I pitted
the
against,
context,
right? The perception.
Which we talked about this with Christian Jones. Like I pit
his
tape against what I'm told he is, and I go, okay, well, I don't.
Yeah, you're like, I mean, you can say it.
Yeah, like when I see what the hype is, and like he was literally voted the best high school linebacker in the country. Like I'm not being a jerk here, but then I watch a lot of West Side, and I go, okay, like I'm not even sure he's my favorite player on your defense. In fact, he's not. It's Quentin Warren. Like that was my favorite player on your defense last year. And so it's like that's nothing against Christian Jones. And if he was a 3-star, I wouldn't put that on him, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's where a guy like Pierce, if Pierce was voted the best high school linebacker in the country, I would evaluate him differently. But he's a 3-star who only really had a couple offers, like Iowa State, Nebraska, and some of the local ones. And I go, dude, that guy's way better than he's getting credit for.
He's a violent son of a gun.
And he's got a great frame, and he's really long. But again, it's the context of it, right? So you look at Ahmad Hudson, you go, okay, that's a 4 or 5-star. You see the tape, and you're like, I don't know.
I wondered how he got open.
Yeah.
Like that's.
And then you see him in person, and you're like, oh, there it is.
And he may not be. So, again, and you have to be able to forecast.
Yeah, projecting.
How you would use them.
Mm-hmm.
Like
and how the skills that he's using right now translate.
Yeah. And as kind of measurables. And then I watch it, and I'm like, got it.
Yeah, makes sense.
Got it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he's probably going against not as good a competition every Friday
on film as he was
against
last Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're okay,
where you have all DB types and linebackers are playing hook to curl at like 18 yards.
And high level,
what I mean,
versions of those guys.
Where they don't even honor run game. It's like they get to their pass drops immediately.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, was one of the things that I liked about Trey too when he talked about the tight windows and 7-on-7 because it is.
Yeah.
And we saw it yesterday because there were so many circus catches by multitudes of people.
You actually got to put it in tough spots if you're the quarterback.
I mean, occasionally you get guys running wide open, like in the shallow cross game, because I mean it is 7. You get those passes where linemen would have hands up or stuff like that. So you shake that off.
And you're like, it is what it is.
And there are particular things that you can look for, and there are a lot of tough catches that are made in 7-on-7, because you're right. I mean, if
getting vertical is low key really challenging.
It is.
In 7-on-7.
Especially when you don't have to honor.
We don't have to honor run game.
Yeah, if I'm a boundary corner and I don't have any run action,
just sit.
Man, I can just bail, right?
Yeah, you're good.
So it's like there are some good takeaways. But what I was gonna say with Tim, because and it didn't break till through the weekend, because nobody really knew except for Nebraska and Vlad and Stone. He didn't go to Georgia.
No, he was at Nebraska.
He ended up going to Nebraska.
Yeah. And apparently,
we got Tim on Friday at 8, right?
Yeah.
And in Tim's defense, he's operating with information real time, which is the same information. Like at the time, he was spot on.
Yeah.
But I'd heard rumblings all week that may do a 180, but you don't really know because stuff like that.
And honestly, Nebraska generally doesn't. So on some of those, Nebraska doesn't know until the guy shows up, basically.
Right.
Right. Like they're like,
although
when
the family comes from across the ocean, somebody had a heads up.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. Just probably takes a little planning.
Yeah.
So
you probably had a little more
impromptu say I'm going to the States.
Yeah. Yeah, a little more heads up on that one than you do on some. But on some of these, legitimately.
I thought it was huge.
Yeah.
That Sohn was supposed to be in
Georgia, right?
Athens.
Yeah.
And winds up in Lincoln.
And then was still rocking his Nebraska gear at K-State's camp like yesterday.
Isn't that something? Hey,
he's standing next to a K-State coach. He's got like a black shirt on.
You know what's funny about that? I'm dead dog serious. A lot of times, schools will tell you ahead of time on OVs, no gear.
Like no other team gear?
Sometimes it's your own. Just depends on the school.
Yeah.
But certainly no other school's gear. So how good must that player be?
That they don't say that?
And you know who his coach is. So I'm pretty sure Manhattan is pretty buttoned up with how you go about doing your business.
I wonder if it's a little different at a camp.
Maybe.
As opposed to a visit.
Maybe. But because a lot of times if you're the player, you do worry about turning said school off. But if you're that good, maybe the school is willing to make some concessions.
Yeah.
But it could also say something about your self-awareness too. So you have to leave that. You have to take what comes with that from the school.
Could also say that like maybe he's all in Nebraska and he was just like, hey, I'm in the neighborhood. I'll go say hi to K-State.
Yeah, I thought so when I asked him the culture question, there's a school about 40 minutes away that has done more than their due diligence on culture, studying the family, getting to know the personalities, and being very strategic about what would be appealing to his peer group, not his peer group, his sphere of influence. It appears to be working.
I would say so.
It appears to be working. I'm not going to put him out there. I'm going to ask for permission. But Darian's dad told me the most rural story ever. And it started like this. He goes, now keep in mind, he's got a son at Nebraska. He flies an Iowa flag, got the Iowa rock, the Iowa golf shoes. I mean, everything.
His other kid's making a decision between some Big Ten schools.
My man is hawk-eyed up. And he said, we're walking in together. And he says, let me tell you how smart Coach Rule is. And I said, oh, I said, say less. I feel the same way. Tell me why you think that. It's exactly what I said.
I agree with you, but why?
He tells the story, and I said, I'm the least surprised person on the planet that he pulled that off. Let me see if he'll let me tell the story. If he gives me the green light.
Just for context, we were talking about Valden Sohn. Sohn?
What's that?
How do you say it's Sohn?
What's that?
Valden?
What's that?
Yeah.
Valden
Sohn. 4-star defensive tackle. Part of this, I think, is positional need too. Like he's a big boy, real defensive tackle. That's like,
oh yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, he's a trench warrior.
So we were talking about offensive tackles yesterday, where
he's a trench warrior.
Sometimes you get a little. they get a little more leeway because there's not that many of those dudes.
Yeah.
I feel like Sohn and defensive tackle, he's already 6'3", 316, 315, whatever. That's another guy where you go, hey, yeah, I'm gonna wait on whatever you need, bud. Like we're gonna wait on you.
Yeah, like wearing other guys' T-shirts at camp.
Exactly.
Just
He's
what are you willing to put up with guys like that?
He's gonna give you a little more leeway, or you're gonna get a little more leeway. He's a top 50 24/7 guy. He's top 150, 200 nationally, depending on what service you go to. 24/7's got him at 45, and as the 4th best D lineman in the country. So that's who we're talking about. Was in Nebraska this weekend.
Yeah, he's big time.
Big time recruit. That would obviously be a huge get for Coach Rule and company. And again, like you said, win a 180 was supposed to be at Georgia this weekend.
Yeah, shocked a lot of folks.
Anytime you can.
I know Georgia's got to be sick of Nebraska.
Oh yeah,
last minute stuff.
Nah.
Although there is a good working relationship. Well, not anymore because he's moved on. Brown's moved on, but there's it's not like
there's some familiarity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot. Yeah,
because Fran was there for a hot minute, right?
A lot of.
And that's a Rule guy.
Yeah. It's got a lot of. That's how they got that initial Georgia influx.
Yeah.
It was just kind of a little heads up.
A little heads up from the from Fran Brown. Yeah, that's a
yeah. Okay, I have permission.
Okay, go ahead.
So we, I said. This is why I hope you listen to us. You're not getting this stuff anywhere else, I hope. But so he says, let me just tell you how smart Coach Rule is. Again, I said, say less. So we're walking up and he said, so we get to dinner on the OV.
Mm-hmm.
You go to one or two nice spots after it's been a long day, right? You vibing?
Mm-hmm.
And he said, Coach Rule walked up to him and he said, hey, how'd you like to have dinner with the governor? And, D-Rock is like, okay, sure. And he goes, hey, no, it's not political. This is, we're just shooting the breeze. And, D-Rock's like, hey, man, I'm an admin. Like, I can play it. I'm pretty straight-laced. Like, this is how you got to kind of be anyway as an administrator. And Rule's like, cool. He said the first thing Governor Pillen says to him is, he's a former Nebraska football player. Didn't know if he knew his history or not, so he said that first. He goes, let me tell you what it was like to play with my brother. I played with my brother, too, at the college level. Nothing like being able to play with your brother. Isn't that something? Who does that?
He's got to go to the governor to find somebody to play with their brother.
Just happens to be right there in his own backyard about brothers playing together. How good is that?
That's incredible. That's incredible.
Is that so? Like,
yeah.
And he's telling me the story, and as I got ready to walk away, because he was going down on the other end to watch D, I looked dead at him. I go, that is the least surprising thing I've ever heard. So when I say it all the time.
Yeah.
And I don't even tell the good stuff because a lot of times I don't have permission.
Yeah.
But their ability to do recon.
Yeah.
Get the lay. That's why I felt like the overseas, the Sohn thing, the family, the culture. At some point, it's going to be huge. I saw it work with Sanders Jr.
Yeah.
Like almost.
They're pretty close to getting that guy.
They just know.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like, yeah, boots on the ground. It's incredible.
Yeah.
The detail that they go into. I saw it with Christian. Like, it's very, very strategic. So when you put in that much work,
yeah,
you can't do it with everybody.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, that's what you can, like a class like this where you're being real targeted.
Yeah.
A small class where you're going after high-end guys and can be really targeted about who you're going after. Like that's sort of a perfect opportunity for the staff to sort of flex that muscle that you're talking about.
I just think the background story and the know-how, they just I don't know, man. Just you talk about doing your homework.
It's part of the reason.
He just shook his head. He's like, man.
It's part of the.
Hey, how'd you like to have dinner with the governor?
It's part of the reason.
I don't know. Pretty all right.
Just like real casual.
Cool.
Just like nonchalant. Oh, sure, why not?
I played with my brother in Nebraska. Wow.
Like it's part of the reason I'm so confident that they're gonna get where I think they're going to get, because they think of everything.
Yeah.
Like they
said
think
that
of
from day one. That is, I mean, you think he's at Omaha Steaks with a big time contributor?
Yeah.
Because he didn't want to be home on Father's Day?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he knows what he's doing.
100%.
Knows what he's doing.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, and I think people think he was joking because when he tells Sip that, because we were originally going to go to KC for the Dodgers game, but they're going on vacay or whatever, and it's like, hey, I'm going to be reading the manual on the settlement because it's like you get a new tax code and it's 700 pages.
Yeah.
And you only get 100 of them.
Yeah.
I'll be reading.
Yeah.
He's not kidding.
No, 100%.
He's not.
They sent them I think 50-page FAQ to every school to like give them the gist of it. And then I'm sure the full thing will go to the lawyers and ADs and whoever else. But like they sent basically a cliff notes to the head coaches. Be like, here you go, best of luck. But the sort of funny thing about it is, and it's probably less so now, but I bet it still is with the NIL part of it, is they are on purpose not answering a bunch of questions because they don't want to paint themselves into a corner.
Right.
I do want to say, let's take a quick break here, but I want to get to the NIL thing because there's some people putting some stuff out there that I think are out of their minds.
It's
I don't understand how naive people can be.
But it's different. It is absolutely different.
And he's not the only one, but it popped up yesterday in my timeline. I know you're not a big Seth Davis guy, but he writes a lot called.
No, he's fine.
He's all right. I don't mind him as much
fine.
as a lot of people do. But so he was writing about NIL and what he thinks is going to happen after the House settlement. And I got to tell you, I don't know what these people are talking about. Jack from Tennessee kind of brought it up the other day too.
Mott Golden voice, Jack?
Yeah, where he's like, I don't know what they're going to do with the $20.5 million, and some of these guys are taking pay cuts, and I'm going to be honest, I don't think it's going to work out that way. That's TB.
Hey, it's the floor, not the ceiling, right?
The ceiling is the roof, right? That's what the GOAT said.
We'll see.
We'll be back. More Hurrdat Sports Live.
You're watching Hurrdat Sports.
If you want to meet Hurrdat Sports out here at the baseball village, this is the worst place to go on the Ferris wheel. But you would be able to find it because we are out at the corner next to the old mat. And you could find sunglasses, hats, T-shirts, all the good stuff. And who knows, maybe you'll even run into Kyle Byers.
Yeah, rally towels. We got a bunch of candy down there. It's awesome. Like the best time of the year is this event because you get to swing through. You get to literally see the entire team all working together from Hurrdat Sports, and we're giving away stuff.
Yeah, and what else would you rather do than come hang out with us, sweat a little bit in the humidity, and then ride the Ferris wheel, which you can tell the baseball game's going on behind us as well. Logan's behind the camera. I mean, it's a full team effort today.
Yeah, and you know what? You've got the Omaha skyline right over there. You've got the ballpark right behind us, and then literally 600 different types of food that you can buy on the way from there all the way to the ballpark. So, yeah, I mean, you literally can't get it any better than sitting down here.
I'm Ravi Lulla.
I'm Kenny Bell.
We're here from Hurrdat Sports. Don't worry, Metro Transit has you covered right here on the ballpark bus. Gonna run from right here down by the stadium, north of downtown, all the way up to Dodge Street, making a circle to drop you off wherever you need to go.
Oh, beautiful. So what's it cost?
It is free. It runs every 10 minutes, and it'll run almost all day until an hour after the last game. Or Kenny, if you're like me, you don't want to deal with driving downtown at all, Metro Transit has you covered there too. You can park out at Westroads for free and get a ride downtown through Orbit.
That's right. They added an extra Orbit stop at 10th and Capitol. Only $1.25. Fills up after the game. Quick, nice service. Right back out to Westroads.
$2.50 round trip. Can't beat it.
And free parking? You kidding me?
Plan your trip or track your bus at myride.ometro.com.
Or download the MyRide OMA app.
Imagine your first dream home and the feeling of walking inside for the first time. With Centrist Federal Credit Union's First Time Home Buyers program, you are at the doorstep of bringing your vision to life. Welcome home. From your neighborhood mortgage experts, Centrist Federal Credit Union. We are where you are.
You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Live.
We're back here on Hurrdat Sports Live. That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla here at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill, reminding you, it's got some weather going on this morning. Just make sure you're being safe out there on the roads. Make sure you got that seatbelt fastened and make it click. It prevents injuries and saves lives, but only if worn properly. Might have some people going out to the re-up of the College World Series last night.
Fudge. So I was waiting to drive last night, and the weather kind of crept in. You heard it was coming.
Mm-hmm.
Did you think it was going to come to fruition like that?
Not really.
I didn't either.
Especially by the time, like, it was a little later than I think in the day than they thought it was going to be, and so I was like, I guess it's not happening. And then all of a sudden,
and
is that one of those things we should call the news station about?
Well,
tell them how mad we are.
The front part of it moved in rather quickly, and then it kind of stayed longer than what everybody thought it would if it was going to hit.
The front part, like, is in time, or the front?
The front.
Well, I mean,
listen. No, it was.
I mean, it moved in quick.
He's right. It was kind of like the cranberries.
So she's like, "What's the yellow mean?" I was like, "Man, I should probably know," because they usually give you the.
It's not as bad as the orange.
They usually give you the what's the thing you put on a map?
Oh, like the key,
topic key, or
the
key, map keys.
Yeah.
Yeah, they usually have like the progression. It was not on there. No. I mean, Bill was kind of in the middle of the screen. He was navigating the cameras like real time.
Was he?
Yeah, he's like, hey, let's go over to, I'm just, 10th and Harney. Let's go over to our 90th and Dodge camp. I'm just like, and he was real time saying where there was hail by saying what was hitting the ground. And I just was like, wow, that's a nice little added bonus.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty impressed. I'm always kind of impressed by because like they'll see kind of where it is on the radar. I'll be like, oh, I bet we've got we got hail right here. Let's go to this camera, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I
would certainly never call and yell at him.
Poor Suits.
That was the wildest thing. I still can't believe it.
How about he kind of just sat on that though?
Yeah,
he was. So what was the segue? Because he just goes, oh, okay, since we're going here.
Well, so I don't remember why it got brought up, but I asked, I go, hold on. Wait, people actually call you?
Oh, he kind of just said it in passing.
Yeah,
and
he said it in passing.
You wanted, yeah.
I think he said like, oh yeah, the two, and then he goes, the two things that people call about most are to ask us what time a game is or what channel it's on, and then to complain about the weather being wrong. And like, I could not believe that was the thing people spent time doing.
The way that he paused before he went in, I was like, "Oh, this is."
Oh, I guess we're doing this.
This is gonna be good. This is gonna be good.
Oh no.
So what were you gonna tell me about the?
Yeah, the NIL thing. So I'm just sitting here, and I feel like, you ever watch Zoolander where you like everybody else?
I have not seen Zoolander.
It seems like your type of movie. No, it really doesn't. No. I just didn't know. Like, it came out in the 90s. You never know.
Wow.
I thought maybe it was like a teen movie night thing or something. I don't know. You watch so much stuff. I have no idea what you're gonna watch.
I get it.
I can understand how you wouldn't like it. It wouldn't be like your thing, but you've seen a lot of stuff. But so there's Will Ferrell has a character in Zoolander, and everybody's like sort of being weird and saying crazy stuff. And he's like looking around. He goes, I feel like I'm taking crazy pills here, because he's the only person that like isn't being a weirdo. And that's how I feel every time I read one of these NIL stories. I mean, Todd Golden yesterday is like, man, some of these kids are going to have a pay cut of about 20% of what they were making last year. And it's going to be a rude awakening for them. I go, in what world we were paying guys when you weren't allowed to pay guys anything, right? We were paying guys like NIL turned into just write the paycheck in a hurry, right? It went from, it's going to be endorsement deals and like we're going to see, remember all of the jokes about, we're going to see so many car dealerships with athletes and whatever. And then all of a sudden it's like, we're just going to write the check and it'll be fine. You're telling me that in this world in which every college athletic department that wants to be competitive in the country, especially in football, but also a lot in men's college basketball, since I brought up Todd Golden, and I'm looking at places like Kentucky that are saying weird stuff too.
Dude, the whole Vince Morrow thing set that thing ablaze.
And I'm sitting here and I go, you want me to believe that they're not going to find a way to make every dollar back for these guys that they want? Because I'm gonna tell you what, the going rate for a quarterback is still going to be 7 figures. Promise. Promise. It will still be 7 figures. The going rate for an offensive tackle, still going to be 7 figures.
Hey, so I did like the fact in Coach Rule's discussion when he was talking to Steven, where he said he was talking about the transfer portal window, like some of his big takeaways from reading the brief docs so far. And he's like, well, sounds like we're moving towards one transfer portal period. When's it going to be? And he listed the constraints, like when your season's done in January, if you make it here. And the first thing, because I told you, I've said for I don't know how long, you want Nebraska and Coach Rule to be spending money on NIL the way that they're doing. They're very fiscally savvy.
They'll spend where they think it's smart.
They're just not.
And it's the difference between cheap and savvy, because they will spend.
Yeah, they're very savvy.
But it's kind of, honestly, and I know people hate this, they're kind of like Creighton.
You want to have very good discretion about how you're. What's the first thing that he talked about? He wants to know exactly when the transfer portal period is versus when it should be, because he does not want somebody to receive double payments where you get a payment
and then you leave.
And you
get another payment.
Yeah. I'm like, I get it. It's.
I mean, that's sort of what Caden Proctor did, right?
You eye roll.
Yeah.
Because you're like, this isn't my college football. This isn't my mom's college football. This isn't my dad's college football. But you do have to kind of roll with it.
Yeah. And listen, it wasn't your mom's college football, your dad's college football before all this either.
Yeah.
Because you know what? They didn't have the BCS. Like, we forget that not that long ago, you don't, because you were part of it. Like, not that long ago, it was stunning if the number 1 and number 2 teams in the country ever played each other.
I know. Yeah.
Now we argue about, well, the 12th team was actually the 14th team, and how many auto buys do we get? Like, it was never, like, it's never been your mom and dad's call. Like, it constantly changes. Just because it was.
I mean, the BCS shook the world, right?
The BCS shook the world.
Then we got back. Then we got back to.
And how many different
versions?
We
went to the playoffs, and then it was like, man.
And how many different
maybe
versions?
The BCS wasn't that bad.
How many different versions of the BCS do we have? Like four in terms of the voting, like, and how it was actually like
the computer model versus.
Yeah, versus, well, this is weighted, this is not weighted, and they changed the computer model, and I was like, okay, well, it's 2/3 humans now, and just 1/3 computer. Like, it's constantly changing. Nothing's ever the same. That's the big misnomer about everybody's nostalgia. Like, nothing's ever the same. It isn't. Everything's always changing. We just think that the thing that we grew up with is how it's always been. That's not true. It's just how it was when you were 12.
The thing about it is, part of the reason that I like what Coach Rule and Troy Dannon, who I think is kind of undersold in this whole thing,
I think he's done a really good job.
Are you vibing with me now when I talk about a certain level of appreciation about being flexible during a period in which
no one knows anything?
Yeah. And the rules change daily, and they're finding a way to function at a high level. I said this a couple months ago, like when the dust settles, I think there will be a unique there should be an appreciation for navigating pretty choppy waters.
And this is the first time in 2 years at least that there's been any kind of clarity.
Because
now that you actually have the document.
And the thing about it is he makes it, I wouldn't say fun, but he's not really complaining along the way.
No, it's just like, this is what it is. Let's go.
He gives you what it is. The 700-page tax code that's 700 pages and only having 100, like that's it's not funny, but it's
a little funny.
It's a lighthearted
it's a little funny
analogy, but you understand
because you're like, I'm supposed to take the test. You gave me 3 chapters of the textbook.
Yeah,
basically.
And he's making it seem like, okay, hey, on vacation, guess what I'm doing? I'm reading, right? Like, oh, that's got to be miserable. But he's not joking. No. I mean, it's what he's going to have to do. He's going to dig in so he knows more
than
everybody else.
And you can read on vacation or you can read at home. Might as well have a nice setting.
It's just what he does. And it's the same. The tax code.
Yeah.
And the 700 versus 100 and reading and wanting to stay ahead and what he said about recruiting and they have to do their due diligence unless you're a coach that doesn't mind having to go back and
tell people that what you said wasn't true.
Yep.
Yeah.
All of Governor Pillen at a recruiting function for an official visit. All that stuff goes back to his initial comments at Big Ten Media Days where he said the schools that are going to make it in the long run are the schools that work the hardest and work the longest. He said that out loud. And I think you just kind of like, oh, okay, Mr. Fuddy Duddy coach speak.
Might be true.
Well, he's mapping the whole thing out.
It's funny that you bring up the tax code, though, because why do people study the tax code?
To cheat.
So they can find loopholes.
Yeah.
I'm using the term loopholes instead of cheat.
Yeah.
But same idea, right?
The irony.
Okay, 1890, I'm talking to you right now, okay? I'm talking directly to you. I've already figured out the loophole in the NIL thing. Call me. Like, I'm serious. Like, I have it figured out.
This ought to be good.
I swear to you. Like, I've got it figured out. Like, this is not that hard.
You Texas Teching this thing? Or?
This is why I feel like I'm taking crazy pills here because I can't believe no one else has said it out loud yet. But if somebody, like, if I'm going to tell anybody how to do it, I'm going to tell Nebraska so that, like, we can win. So, like, I figured it out, guys. So, like, call me. Like, I know how to do this.
Wow. Interesting.
Like, last week, I went to a forum that Open Doors was hosting.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there, and I'm like, oh, my God. I'm the only one that has figured this out. I swear to you, like, it's easier than you think. Like, you're going to be able to, like, Nebraska, 1890, Coach Rule, whoever's listening or whoever you've got assigned to the show today. Like, I have it figured out. I know, like, you're going to be able to pay guys.
This dude said assigned to the show. Really?
You know we're somebody's homework.
You think?
Oh, 100%. He references too much of the show to you for him not to know what's happening. You know it's right. Maybe it's just the social media clips.
That's
what
I think it is. Now you got me thinking.
I think he's got somebody assigned. I think Dr. also listens to us every morning.
That did something to my stomach. I mean, I'm gonna be the same regardless.
I know it's like I'm not changing anything, but like they're gonna be able to pay people. They're gonna figure out a way. I'm pretty sure I already have. It's not that hard.
So does this have anything to do with like market value? And
yes.
Okay.
And what I'm trying to,
because it is fairly subjective.
It is subjective, and honestly, I've not just figured out what the loophole is. I figured out how to do it. Like I can give you the roadmap on how to execute it. It is not that hard. What I am telling you is, I guarantee you.
I almost want to say, if you know it, shouldn't everybody else?
That's why I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. But I'm still listening out here to Todd Golden saying that the guys are going to take 20% of what they had last year, and I'm like, no, sir, they are not. That is not going to happen. Because worst case scenario, and I'm saying if everything that I think is true is wrong, they're just going to go to non-football schools, or they're going to go to schools that are putting more money in men's basketball, and they're going to go get their money that way. Like Georgia and Florida, yeah, you might be in trouble. They're going to go get their paycheck somewhere. I can promise you that. Once the market has been set and like, hey, this is what a starting center costs, that's what it costs. You're not going backwards. Like that ship has sailed.
So the cool thing about that I think allows Nebraska to operate in this space, and maybe to some degree, a lot of the school like Iowa, Minnesota, Notre Dame, some of these schools seem to have these built-in parameters that it hasn't gotten out of control, so they don't have to go back and get it. I don't know what some of these other schools are doing, but they're. I
think Nebraska to a certain extent that way too. I
think that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. There's a lot of these. Yeah.
kind of like the Creighton basketball model.
Yeah. Although they're gonna keep paying people.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a pretty good roster. I do not think it was free.
No.
That thing, man.
Most things come with a cost.
They might score 90 points a game. They might give up 89, but God, it's going to be fun to watch. I'm going to love it. It's going to drive you crazy.
Nut job.
I'm just telling you right now, not to get off track here, Blake Harper's pretty good at basketball.
I thought he was like the most overlooked of the bunch.
I know. Like he's a 6'8" guard.
I think
that dude's a baller.
He's the most overlooked of the bunch.
Yeah, that dude's a baller. Creighton's going to score like 100 points a game. I don't know how many they're going to give up, but they're going to score a lot of points.
Oh, shoot.
We'll set up the show, I suppose. Coming up in just a little bit, actually, we're going to talk to Ty Richardson. He hosts the Morning Rush on ESPN Arkansas. I don't know if you know this. Arkansas baseball had a moment yesterday.
Huh.
Just a little bit. It's kind of happening like mid-afternoon. It's a pretty cool deal.
Yeah, I think I heard something about that.
Some about
Does it
that.
have anything to do with like 19 strikeouts and another 0?
Yeah, just no.
You know how many outs there are in a game, right?
27.
Yeah, a lot of Ks.
Yeah, that's a lot of Ks.
Wouldn't it be nice to touch 97 on a day like yesterday in the 9th?
Dude, I couldn't believe. We'll get to this with Ty, but just how amped up that dude was for 3 hours.
Yeah.
Like that dude was just on it,
Yeah.
like in full-fledged psycho mode for 3 hours, and I loved it.
That's incredible.
It was. You don't see pitchers like that very often.
No.
You see closers like that. They'll come in for 10 minutes and be like, whatever.
But you look
But
at his
starter-
frame and
no,
kinda,
yeah.
I mean,
That dude looked like he spends more time in the weight room than some of the linebackers at Arkansas.
he looked good in his gear.
Like my dude was ready to roll.
Real good in his gear. You talk about being built to come through the losers bracket.
That's what I asked Kendall yesterday.
Like
that pitching staff, and now they didn't even use their bullpen.
Yeah, we kind of thought that going in, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you can come back with Root if you need to, short stint. You didn't know you were going to get a complete game gem when you're talking to Kendall yesterday.
So you used,
and you're even. You
used
may
no
be
bullpen.
ahead. You may be ahead of schedule now, and
'Cause you
you've
got
played
Root.
it, and you played an extra game,
right? Because you got Root coming back anytime now, right?
Yeah.
Like he threw 40 pitches, 38 pitches, whatever. Like he can come back and start.
which is a bullpen session.
Yeah, it's a side session, right? So you're good to go again. And now they're
kind of
more or less, like you're ready to go all the way through. Like not only was that an incredible performance, but it also set them up crazy well to come back through and maybe have a rematch with LSU, depending on how the game this morning goes after it resumes here. But so we'll talk to Ty. Talked to Ty a few years ago in a former life. Good dude. We'll talk to him. He was there. He's here in Omaha. He was there at the game yesterday. We'll talk to him. At 9 o'clock, we'll talk to Mike Schaefer, Husker 24/7, get his thoughts on some of these recruits and NIL stuff and whatever else we feel like talking about with Schaefer today.
Yeah.
And then special guest at the end of the show. One of your personal favorites, DB. This was a you and Shane special.
Sure.
It was because this is a new experience for me.
I'm excited to talk to her.
We will talk to at 9:45 Harriet McFeely, who is affectionately known as the Bigfoot lady.
Yeah.
So we'll have some questions for her.
She's got a book coming out.
She's writing a book about all the paranormal, supernatural
Giants.
This one's about giants.
Yeah.
And yeah, so we'll talk to Harriet at the end of the show. See how that goes.
This is for like the Dookie clans and a lot of the. That convention stays packed, and
I do have some
there's been
Bigfoot
some
questions.
I think she'll have some answers.
I have some Bigfoot questions. I'm curious. I want to learn. I'm not really a skeptic.
That's a Wookiee, not a Bigfoot.
I mean, I am a skeptic. I think they're similar. They might be cousins.
All right, you can make jokes if you want to.
I'm just saying from the pictures that I've seen.
She's going to chew you up.
I'm not making jokes. From the pictures that I've seen, it looks like a Wookiee and a Bigfoot might be like in the same genus.
I got you.
Genus, species, family.
I talked to her for like 7 minutes yesterday.
Really?
Yeah.
She remembered you very well, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's excited.
We started her campaign together,
Right.
Shane.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I've never talked to her.
We did.
Yeah.
She didn't necessarily know, like, okay, so like, what do you guys want to have me on? I was like, well, we had you on before. She's like, oh yeah, okay, I remember you guys now.
Yeah.
And I just said, we're gonna do this and this and this. She's like,
she was trying to get that thing filled up when she first started
the convention.
Yeah.
And she was like, oh, I could talk for hours on this thing. I'm like,
Yeah.
well,
What's her? Do you remember her husband's name that passed away?
I do not.
Yeah, it's yeah, it is.
So it'd be nice to check back in with her.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll talk to Harriet at the end of the show.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
I have some real Bigfoot questions. Listen, I'm open to the world of cryptozoology.
Listen,
that's what they call it.
If you don't, Shane, is that how they sound? Are there any recordings on?
I don't know that we've heard sounds.
I don't know, but I got a lot of Chewbacca.
Of
I
course
mean,
you
I
do.
had a lot of fun yesterday tracking that stuff down.
Let's take a quick break here, Shano, before we get to Ty. That's DB. Is that a yes? Is that yes in Wookiee? I haven't taken classes in
what?
years in Wookiee.
Oh, gotcha.
They're from Kashyyyk. It's a jungle planet full of Wookiees.
Oh, I'm gonna take your word for it.
That's where Yoda was during Order 66. It was a whole thing.
Yeah.
Anyway,
yeah, he knows about Kashyyyk.
Jay, let's take a quick break here before we get to Ty. That's DB. I'm Ravi, Lulla. It's Hurrdat Sports Live.
You're watching Hurrdat Sports.
If you want to meet Hurrdat Sports out here at the baseball village, this is the worst place to go on the Ferris wheel. But you would be able to find it because we are out at the corner next to the old mat. And you could find sunglasses, hats, T-shirts, all the good stuff. And who knows, maybe you'll even run into Kyle Byers.
Yeah, rally towels. We got a bunch of candy down there. It's awesome. Like the best time of the year is this event because you get to swing through. You get to literally see the entire team all working together from Hurrdat Sports, and we're giving away stuff.
Yeah, and what else would you rather do than come hang out with us, sweat a little bit in the humidity, and then ride the Ferris wheel, which you can tell the baseball game's going on behind us as well. Logan's behind the camera. I mean, it's a full team effort today.
Yeah, and you know what? You've got the Omaha skyline right over there. You've got the ballpark right behind us, and then literally 600 different types of food that you can buy on the way from there all the way to the ballpark. So, yeah, I mean, you literally can't get it any better than sitting down here.
I'm Ravi Lulla.
I'm Kenny Bell.
We're here from Hurrdat Sports. Don't worry, Metro Transit has you covered right here on the ballpark bus. Gonna run from right here down by the stadium, north of downtown, all the way up to Dodge Street, making a circle to drop you off wherever you need to go.
Oh, beautiful. So what's it cost?
It is free. It runs every 10 minutes, and it'll run almost all day until an hour after the last game. Or Kenny, if you're like me, you don't want to deal with driving downtown at all, Metro Transit has you covered there too. You can park out at West Roads for free and get a ride downtown through Orbit.
That's right. They added an extra Orbit stop at 10th and Capitol. Only $1.25. Fills up after the game. Quick, nice service right back out to West Roads.
$2.50 round trip. Can't beat it.
And free parking? You kidding me?
Plan your trip or track your bus at myride.ometro.com.
Or download the MyRide OMA app.
You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Live.
Getting his third look at Gage Wood, whose 2-2 pitch is cut on and missed. 14 strikeouts for Wood. Now the three-man Carson Garner. First pitch swinging, stabbed by Robinette. Inning over. Gage Wood's 0-2. Sweet 16.
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live, presented by Centris Federal Credit Union. That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla here at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill. We are joined now by Ty Richardson. He is the host of the Morning Rush on ESPN Arkansas. Ty, how are you this morning?
Good, Robbie. Good, DB. Yeah, just downtown Omaha, past the team hotel, ready for this game tonight. I'm kind of expecting a rain out, unfortunately, kind of like last night. I think we might be playing into Wednesday morning, unfortunately.
Hey, this is interesting too, Ty, because I was joking, but it's of course pretty realistic. Before the game yesterday, we were talking with Kendall Rogers, and I think a lot the sentiment was, okay, if anybody's built to come through the losers bracket, especially with the low pitch count from Root, it would be Arkansas. And then we get to Jim yesterday, and we'll get to the specifics of that later. And you could potentially get a little extra rest. In your wildest dreams, did you actually think if you were going to plus minus this thing that you could be a +1 in terms of arms rest after the opener against LSU this weekend?
Probably not.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah, it was so unexpected yesterday. Gage's performance. I mean, he's an Arkansas kid, Batesville, Arkansas, home of the Pioneers, and I mean, so LSU and Arkansas heading into the matchup, it's like, okay, one of these teams loses, Arkansas has a better bullpen. Now LSU's got the experience, they've got the national championship resume, and frankly, they displayed that this past Saturday night. But for Arkansas, an opportunity to either knock them out tonight or beat the Bruins and get a rematch with them come Wednesday. It's attractive, and there's a reason a lot of Arkansas fans are still here in Omaha, because they feel like this team has a chance to go on a run. Now they've got to have a performance, not necessarily pitching wise, but like Gage had. You're not going to see that again for probably another 50, 60 years, to be frank. But there's a lot of guys on this team that can make some noise. And guys, we'll see what happens later on at 6, and hopefully we get through at least a few innings tonight.
So, Ty, I gotta let's rewind it back to yesterday here, because I'm just fascinated by the whole Gage Wood thing, right? I'm watching this guy. I've watched baseball for a long time. Generally, you don't see...
Teams are coming.
Sorry, guys.
That's okay.
I don't know what's going on. I guess I think a team's coming through.
Yeah, that's what it is. That's the old escort.
Yeah, a team is definitely coming. Apologize. It's got to be LSU or UCLA. Let me get inside.
No, you're all good, Ty. I'm just fascinated by sort of the mindset of and just the demeanor of a Gage Wood, right? I've watched baseball my whole life. You see relievers like that. You see relievers with that amount of fire and that amount of intensity, really hard to sustain as a starting pitcher. Didn't seem like it affected Gage Wood at all. In fact, it kind of seemed like his superpower, his ability to stay that intense for that long. Well, that and like a high 90s fastball, which certainly doesn't hurt. Like, is that obviously he hadn't pitched a lot this year, but had the shoulder injury and everything there. But like, is that just sort of, is he always revving that high? Like, what? I was just fascinated by watching this guy who looked like he was a closer in the major leagues, but he's doing it for over the course of 3 hours.
So Ravi, DB, you saw him kind of explode in the 8th inning after that final strikeout. And then tonight he just went ballistic, and I would have too. But Gage, really for the first 6 or 7 innings, was the most composed I've seen him. Now, part of what makes Gage Wood is because he has that fire and intensity and the up and down, and that's why he can get his fastball up in the high 90s. But that was a different Gage Wood we saw. I mean, you think about being on the brink of elimination in that setting, going up against an underdog where if you lose, a lot of people are going to point to you as the reason they lost. Fair or foul, that's what would happen. And guys, he pitched the majority of that game with like a one-run lead. It felt like Arkansas was up 10-0 yesterday. You think about for several innings, Arkansas was either just tied or up a run, and then got a few insurance runs down the stretch. But I think that's what makes it even more impressive is how he was able to stay in that level with not a huge lead.
How come? I get the arms could potentially be a bonus with the depth, but is there a concern for what's happened so far in offensively, or do you just chalk it up to, seeing Anderson over the weekend and, listen, Murray State quality arms in terms of depth yesterday? Are there some things in there that you think better get addressed in a hurry?
Well, it better get addressed. I mean, you let 10 guys on yesterday. So I think the final number being 10. You had 4 hits against LSU. And, listen, you chalk that up to a top 10 draft pick. Anderson's a dog. They got, I think, 4 runs on him earlier this season in Baton Rouge. So they played much better when they were in Alex Fox Stadium. But, no, if they're going to actually do something here these next couple days, you've got to manage more than an average of 2 runs a game, which is what they did with 1 run against LSU and 3 yesterday. I know Dave Van Horn was like, man, if we keep pitching like he was quoted in the post game, we keep pitching like we're doing, and then the hitting comes on, this is gonna be a tough team to beat. But yeah, that element has to wake up, or this team's going back to Fayetteville either tonight or tomorrow.
We're talking with Ty Richardson of ESPN Arkansas. So Ty, as we're sitting here, obviously the pitching staff kind of starts to line up. When do you expect us to see Root again as this thing starts to play out?
Well, Gabe Gackle was quoted yesterday on one of our local.
Who had another gym?
Yeah, he was great too.
Yeah.
People like Anderson kind of overshadowed, just like Justin Thomas, their 9-hole hitter, got 4 hits yesterday. He was 4 for 4, but no one's talking about it because Gage had nearly a perfect game and had a no hitter. So your question about Root could be available today. I mean, based on what Dave said at practice on Sunday, he said in the next day or two. I mean, you put that into like actual what he said. It could have been yesterday, but they didn't need him. Could be today. I think what's interesting, guys, is if you're expecting this game to get rained out tonight, which based on the weather forecast, I'm going to see. I think they get in a couple innings, kind of like last night, but then you see this game play out on Wednesday morning. Do you want to waste one of your better dudes? Like, do you want to get Root? Like, Vidal Shees he's the Ohio State transfer. Do you pitch him tonight knowing that he might only get a few innings in, even if he's dealing? So I think that factors in, and regardless if it's the Bruins or the Tigers, I think that factors into the equation. It's like, man, there's a really good shot that we only get this guy in for a few innings, and then we have to pitch someone else tomorrow, which I think is a massive deal when it comes to deciding who's going to pitch tonight.
Offensively, if it's not in individual, what's the style you'll be looking for? Is it clutch hitting? Is it situational hitting? Listen, it's good arms. We're in the postseason at this stage for a reason. Guys can shove on the mound. What will the style look like if you think you're going to start to get it going?
Stop hitting into double plays. That's the biggest thing. I mean, this team is in a double plays. They hit into a couple of them on Saturday night against Anderson, where Lloyd got on base via walk, via hit, and then he wasn't brought home. And then you look at yesterday again, leaving 10 guys on base where they were able to get away with it, but it just didn't. It just wasn't enough. So when guys are on first and second or second and third, you got to bring them home. The strength of this team this season offensively has been the home run ball. That changes when you get to Omaha. The dimensions at Charles Schwab Field are a little bigger. They haven't hit as many warning track balls as I thought, but they've got to stop hitting into easy double plays. If they manage to navigate away from those, then you're going to see a much more offensively explosive team starting later on tonight and hopefully through these next couple days.
Ty, as we sit here, obviously we've got a local Omaha, Nebraska kid on your roster. What's it been like? We knew Cam Kozel was special, well,
listen, I'll tell you a quick funny story, Ty. He played at a high school, really, really talented football program, and they had us on the ropes. We were undefeated and getting ready to play for a state championship a couple years ago. And there was a ton of talent. I don't want to be dismissive of that. But he single-handedly kept them in the game. I mean, we pressured, we blitzed, he would scramble, his accuracy. I think they were 7 of 11 on, not that I remember from, almost 3 years ago, 7 of 11 on third down conversions. They got us into overtime. And I said then, the thing that I appreciated the most about Cam was his baseball prowess was well documented. I'd seen him play since he was little. He's committed forever in high school, yet in his senior year, missing time because he was playing nationally. He was still dicing up a fairly decent team on the football field. I said, that alone, that he's willing to compete at that level and lay it on the line like that with what he has on the line, that's all I needed to know about him. I've seen him up close, in person, almost a little too much.
You're recounting some not so great
traumatized.
As you bring that up, I didn't even know about Cam and football. It's been well documented, as you said, it's baseball and his dad being on the grounds crew at Charles Schwab, and obviously his connection to Rosenblatt and everything else. But I know Arkansas sure was glad to get him in the transfer portal, and he has fit in like a glove in Arkansas. He's mentioned fishing in Omaha. Oh, I don't know if you guys know this. There's a pond outside of Baum-Walker Stadium in Fayetteville, and he and his teammates, and they found some other fishing holes. And Arkansas fans love Cam not just because of what he does in the baseball field. The guy loves to fish, which I would say at least half of our population in Arkansas likes to do. So it's he's a young man that's had a lot of success in postseason too. I think he's leading the team batting average wise this postseason. I know he wants to get things rolling here in Omaha. I think he just has one hit thus far, but hopefully he can be a guy that can impact his team for days to come. And
not only can he swing it, he can spin it too. I'm just telling you, like, you go down that road. He was incredible.
He's a dog. I guess I got to get in a Cam Kozel football wormhole this morning. We'll get to talk.
Ty, it was like 3rd and 16, 4th and
not
double
that he's
digits,
traumatized or anything.
4th and double digits. We brought the house. He broke like 7 tackles and threw a dot down the field to get him in position to get that thing to overtime. It was unbelievable. I mean, we'd stopped covering, and here we are yelling at our guys, get him to the ground, and they're looking at us like, have you seen this guy's lower? Have you seen this guy's trunk? Like,
got some wiggle thing.
He's incredible. Oh yeah, he's definitely. You said he's got some dog in him. Man, I echo that sentiment. He was incredible.
You've seen it firsthand.
Yeah.
I've seen it firsthand, and you've seen it in his high school days too. So he's had it for a while.
Yep. Well, some guys just have it.
Ty, we appreciate your time this morning. I'm sure you enjoyed your time in Omaha yesterday. Hope you continue to enjoy your time in Omaha. If you need any restaurant recommendation or anything, just hit me on DM. We got you.
All right, buddy. Thanks. And I appreciate it. I was listening to you the other day. I appreciate what you said about Omaha, just how much you enjoy it. And this is like always the time of year that other people get to experience it. So I'm hoping in 2027 Arkansas winds up here for the NCAA tournament in basketball too, because I know it's going to be back here for that.
Well, hey, we'll have you back on in 2027 as well. We love talking to you.
Appreciate it, Ty.
All right, boys. See you.
That's Ty Richardson of the Morning Rush in ESPN Arkansas. Appreciate his time here this morning. Let's take a quick break here. We'll regroup, get back to a lot going on. Yeah, it's June. I thought it was supposed to be a slow time of year, DB. What's going on, man?
Just keep catching breaks.
Just keep on pushing. That's DB. I'm Ravi. Lulla. Hurrdat Sports Live coming next.
Avery Howard here with Caden Bodine because Coastal Carolina is 2-0 in the College World Series. You guys put up 3 runs in the first inning. How much did that set the tone for this game tonight?
It was huge. Thorndike got us the big inning, and it was really huge 3 runs for us and to set the tone.
Your pitcher tonight, Jacob Morrison, doing what he does. You're the guy back there. What do you see from him that makes him so effective?
I think just his competitiveness. He's always out there, thinks he's better than everybody else, and it's just a good mentality out there.
Coach Schnall called your pitching coach, Matt Williams, a difference maker. How is he taking this pitching staff to the next level this year?
I think just pitch calling and making the minor tweaks to each guy. I mean, Lynch made a great leap from last year to this year. He has a point, whatever ERA, and he's just been dominant for us.
Your head coach also makes a point to tell everyone that he has the best backstop in the country anytime he can. When your head coach talks about you like that, what kind of confidence does it give you?
It's awesome. I mean, I have a high respect for Coach Schnall. He's my favorite coach of all time. And I think it all comes down to Matt Williams and the coaching staff. They do a phenomenal job, and they make the right pitches, and they help me look good back there.
the neighborhood, just down the street. With a wide variety of home equity products to help you create a relaxing oasis. So you can kick back and relax in comfort. Centris Federal Credit Union. We are where you are.
Come back and stays alive in Omaha. Jake Monroe, you got things started there in the 8th inning. I want to go back to the 5th, though, and that dugout conversation before you guys hit in the 6th. What was that message like?
It was a tough one. It was tough love. Just telling us that we got to do whatever we can do to move the baseball. Just fight, and get things going. And, we didn't get things going right away, but it got to the 8th inning, and we were able to get some stuff done.
Yeah, what was the catalyst of that 8th inning in your eyes?
I think just Eddie's single, move the ball, and I just think the guys' willingness to just try to move the baseball. We didn't beat them with hard hits. We dropped some balls in, but that's good things happen when you move the baseball.
You told me a couple days ago this team came in feeling disrespected with a chip on their shoulder. Mm-hmm. Why can you never count this team out?
If you paid attention all year, we've done this all year. We have multiple walk-offs, multiple comebacks. We're the best team in the last 3 innings.
For you and your journey, started at JUCO the past 2 years. How special of a moment is this for you to be in Omaha?
This is awesome. Getting that first win in Omaha has been amazing. The crowd, the atmosphere, just playing with these guys has been amazing.
Listening to Hurrdat Sports Live.
We're back here on Hurrdat Sports Live. That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla here at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill, reminding you that learning about money doesn't have to be boring. Centris Federal Credit Union has a free online financial education center called Enrich with personalized content specific to your financial journey. It offers tools and resources to help you on the path to success. Go to centrisfcu.enrich.org to learn more. You can even enter into a monthly $1,000 sweepstakes with Enrich. Go check them out. Federally insured by NCUA. Did you ever play against Cam's brother, Ty?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Oh,
good ball player.
Yes.
UNK, right?
Tackling machine.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Our guy Dave in the chat was talking about him at UNK because he was their voice for a long
DJ.
time.
He's been around.
Yeah.
It's good to talk to somebody that's experienced, that has that much experience with
his Rolodex is incredible. You ever see him in here?
The high school ranks.
Yeah,
that's peace of mind, because sometimes since I feel like an octogenarian.
Listen, you just remember everything.
And I'm kind of old.
No, you've just been doing this for a long time. There's a difference.
And I've loved high school since.
Hey, you've always been super into the high school sports.
Even when I was
when you were young.
Yeah, I was. Yeah. I would just remember this is dumb, because it's since changed so much, but just blown away by Berquist,
mm-hmm.
which is now the middle school looks like the Taj Mahal. And it's been recarpeted and doesn't have the natural grass, and it's got the pretty track and the renovations.
I don't know if you know this. There's not actually any carpet in the Taj Mahal.
But
I've been there.
Yeah,
it's marble.
Just watching just watching a lot of high school sports
I
as a kid. And I mean like early 80s.
Yeah.
You know, Larry Station and Keith Jones and Willie Brand and Dave Hoppin. And
probably it's a lot with you do with your dad, though, right?
Yeah.
He's very involved locally.
Yeah. You know, he's a high school athletic director.
Yeah.
And so you just were at
You're just at everything.
A lot of stuff. And it's like, so when people talked about like the Trotters and the Paul Wallaces and all these just like gems, it's like, oh yeah, I remember Willie Brand was a great basketball player at South. And you know, Cedric Hunter gets his due, and I get it. Ced is spectacular. He's fantastic. I hope his twins are doing well. They're the same age as Micah. And I remember that Willie Brand wore Argyle socks. Ask anybody that remembers hoops. I'm dead dog serious. That is not made up. I remember this guy wore Argyle socks.
That's incredible.
And he'd give you like 30.
Just hooping in Argyle?
Yes.
Giving you buckets?
Yes. Yes. I remember there's a quarterback at North. We've since lost him. And he would wear like red spot belts. Do you even remember spot belts?
No, I don't know what that is.
Yeah. It's just things that I just remember.
So you know what's kind of funny is when I was a kid, like most of my family wasn't into sports growing up or whatever, but my oldest sister would take me to Miller North football games when I was like little bitty.
Mm-hmm.
So like I saw Crouch play in high school in like the late 90s because she would take me to games with her, which looking back on it, if I had a younger sibling, last thing in the world I want to do is take them, like when I was in high school, would be take them to a football game. So like she's a saint for that. And then my other sister, she was in the band, so she would take me in the pep band. So she'd take me to Miller North basketball games. So I was going to like these games from a really young, and I don't know why I wanted to go even, right? It was just like, oh, it's live sports. Let's go. Like I just had this thing where I just always wanted to be around it. So like I get it. Like even when you're a kid, if you're weirdos like us, you're just like, yeah, let's go watch.
It's just the weird things that I can remember. The three most physical games I played in. I was a sophomore. We got hammered by Papio.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and they were explosive, like Brannigan and Payne and John Ochoa and Reggie Ball and these guys. And we wore white sometimes, all green. And a couple games later, Miller North, just getting killed by Paul Holly and Kevin Bush. And they had this little running back, Terrell Rose, who was so dynamic. They had a quarterback that I played baseball with, Troy Everton. And then lastly, I was a senior. We played Central. I had a 100-yard rushing streak on the line and needed a lateral behind the line of scrimmage to get over 100.
Yeah.
I made a long run out of it or whatever, but just getting punished.
Yeah.
I mean, punished. I'm like, fudge. It's Argyle socks. I can smell grass, stuff like that. It's just I love, I don't know. It's the hardest thing to give up, with like job offers and stuff. It's like when people talk about, I'm not going to be able to coach. And I'm like,
Yeah. You're like, that might be a deal breaker.
And they look at me and it's like, hey, you don't make any money. I'm like, oh, I know.
But it's the thing you like the most.
Well, I don't
by
know,
far.
The further away I get from kids, the worse I am.
Yeah.
That's funny. Amazing. Danny brings up Martise Ivy. She played with my sister played with her. It's the first time I took the Metro bus.
Oh, yeah. You told me about that.
Go to their basketball practice, and, they had a heck of a backcourt. Wanda Hartsong and Martise Ivy, and Mallory was soon to come. And I could see I saw Martise at the Jet Awards. It still does something to me to see her because of the reverence.
Oh, yeah.
She was incredible.
Isn't that funny? How
like
there's
she was so ahead of her time. Like just a walking bucket.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's gracious. Yeah, she is. That Martise Ivy is a great pull.
It's really funny how there's certain people that, like Martise Ivy is a really good example. Most people at the Jet Awards would probably walk by her. Maybe they know who she is, maybe they don't. But like when you have this very specific, like, oh my God, that's Martise Ivy, right? Like I feel like there's a lot of those types of people if you grow up loving sports or whatever, where it's like that's a really random. One of them for me, honestly, is Ethan Wragge. I loved Ethan Wragge, and like in this grand scheme of college basketball and even Creighton basketball, like, yeah, he had nice moments, but he's not he's not Doug, he's not Kyle Korver, he's not Nate Funk, whatever, right? He's not Ryan Kalkbrenner, but all those guys have been around, most of those guys at one point or another. The guy that I'm just enamored with, that if I ever ran into in a room, I'd be like, oh my God, that's Ethan Rogge.
Yeah, there's a few guys like that. I know if you're talking about like off the radar random pulls, like Willie Brand is one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just never seen a guy like that size that could. Again, Cedric was close. I think Willie was a better scorer at South, but he's just in that rare discussion. This one's a little more popular. Ken Clark.
Oh, yeah.
I saw Ken Clark run on grass. This is mid-'80s. I'm probably, I don't know, I'm at least 10.
Yeah.
Because I had a Steelers jersey by then, and I think that was like my 6th or 7th birthday. And or Christmas, I should say. Sears catalog, baby. Bradshaw, worn numbers. I watched Ken Clark run. I can still see it.
Yeah.
The towel, the thick trunk, the balance. It's like, I think I love him. And I have there's no dog, and I don't have It's Brian. I don't really know anything about Brian.
You just loved watching him.
I just liked watching him run.
Yeah.
He's just one of those guys that is like in my Rolodex.
Is there
the spots are weird ones?
Is there any of those that are like contemporaries, like people that you were around the same age as? I know as you've gotten past it, there's some guys that are younger that you were like, oh, it's kind of weird because I generally don't have like reverence for younger people, but you've mentioned a few that you do.
I tell you a guy whose work ethic I love.
Yeah.
I played with a guy. He's a couple years older than me. He ended up playing baseball at Creighton. Tim Decker.
Oh, okay.
Is a guy that is a little older than me, but I admired quite a bit. I thought it was kind of weird. Sometimes I may have 2 buttons undone or 3, or, my hat wasn't always on perfectly when I would get to warm up and stuff. And there was a way to do business. TD was a guy that, he looked like a ball player.
Like buttoned up.
Yeah, looked like a ball player. Sean Peterson was a guy, who could flat out shove. Ended up going to K-State. Really, really good competitor. There are a lot of guys like that. I'm like that with Rob DeBoer. Played at Burke. That kind of, idolize maybe strong, but just guys I have a reverence for. Probably the one that's still to this day, because I see him. I used to see him a ton. I haven't seen him as much the last couple of years, but I would say Mike Stick is like that. Another Burke guy. Coached against Easton. I'd always see him, follow him at NDSU, and I'd talk to Sticky a lot.
Yeah.
Guy could hit it a country mile. Just big, cock strong, yoked. He's a really good businessman.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Sticks like that.
There is something about, especially in high school, because you don't see a ton of guys with like real power in high school, just because it comes later for a lot of those guys.
Yeah.
There is something about, like, I remember I've told you about like the Darren Ruff home run at Millard West before, where I thought he was going to kill somebody on Q Street. Like, I remember that thing like it was yesterday.
Yeah.
It is just one of those that never leaves your mind, because you're just like, oh my God. Like,
I can see Heiser shoving from Millard South. One guy that I always struggled to hit, for whatever the reason.
Yeah.
I didn't like playing there either.
Yeah. At Millard South?
Yeah.
It's kind of in a weird spot, like if it's in the same spot, I assume it's in the same spot that it used to be back in the day, but you've got kind of the like admin building up behind it, and there's like the tree line. And
his battery mate was a guy named Bo Baltzell, who I spent a lot of time with.
You want to know
Jed Dalton from Papio is a guy that I have a ton of reverence for.
A Papio guy I was thinking about the other day?
Kamar Barty. Those are contemporaries.
Ryan Worley.
Oh, yeah.
I had forgotten about – somebody asked me about the 2005 Nebraska CWS team, and so I went back and looked at it because I was like, yeah, I know Gordo was on that team and like Java.
How about a lot of those guys are coaching together?
Yeah.
Did you see that piece on Channel 7?
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
But I looked up –
I didn't know Dunsing's kid was that old.
I didn't either.
Yeah.
And then I looked up – so I was looking up and I go, oh, man, I forgot, because I remember watching Ryan Worley in high school because he was – I think a year older than me, maybe. Yeah, he was a year older than me if he was there in 05. And watching that dude, and he was this, for a shortstop, he was like 6'3", 6'4", big dude. You generally don't see shortstops that size in high schools, especially here in the metro.
You know who gets lost, and I'm telling you, he's as good an athlete. And when I say no one ever brings him up.
Who?
He's as good as athlete as I've seen live and or played against. It was Chad Myers from Gross. He was a great football player. He's a great baseball player. Ended up going to Creighton for a little bit. He was incredible. He had kind of that Cozio frame.
Yeah, got compact.
God, he was so good, so good.
So there was this the other one that I was thinking about.
Troy Travis is a good pull too.
Yeah,
incredible. And Troy Travis.
Yeah.
From the Beef days. It's funny he brings up Jerry Swain. Jerry Swain hit us for 407.
Yeah.
404.
Oh.
And it was the very next week. I'd set a state record against Ralston. He broke it the very next week. Like I'm telling you, I'm within 3. It's either 404 or 407.
Yeah.
Yeah, he played with VJ. Jerry Swain was incredible.
One of the dudes that I was thinking about while we were talking about this kind of went below the radar because I thought he was the best basketball player on that team, but he wasn't the most well thought of guy. You remember Carl White from Central?
Yep. What do I?
That dude was a
bucket
baller.
Listen, walking bucket.
Yes.
Very underappreciated.
I'm pretty sure
that's a good pull.
I'm pretty sure because he went to UI Chicago. But he had Courtney Grigsby and Benny Valentine on that team. Yeah. So even though I thought he was the best basketball player of the group, he flew below the radar a little bit because Benny was, the short point guard who was really good. And then Courtney obviously was a 2-sport athlete. He was going to Nebraska and everything. But man, that dude, I think he gave Miller North 8 threes one game, which back then in high school was crazy.
And for me, sometimes it's for a different reason. Like I remember, you talk about guys that was kind of unsung on really, really good teams. That's how I felt. There's a player that went to Creighton Prep, and he played with. I mean, there are a ton of fellas, right? Yeah. I mean, there's the Murtaughs and Lukey and Junior Bryant. All these guys.
Game Dog Brub, Junior Bryant, yeah.
Allen Robinson.
Okay.
He played in the same backfield as Jason Williams, who gets a lot of the. I mean, Jay Will ended up going to Iowa State, playing, but Allen Robinson was a guy that had just a tough guy.
Yeah.
Kind of, just did his thing, flew under the radar. They had a couple of hoopers like that too. Melvin Chen.
Yeah.
Was a guy that was a really, really, really good player.
Do you remember, I think it was, so you remember Isaiah Fluellen from Nebraska. I think his little brother.
Yeah, I watched.
Played quarterback at Bellevue West.
Yeah.
And then went up to Wayne State. Silas.
Yeah.
That dude.
Again, another guy that went for over 400 on us.
That dude, Silas Fluellen in high school, was just phenomenal to watch.
Do you remember Hardy? You remember one of his, there's a quarterback, ended up going to Nebraska for a little bit, who was Greg Hardy's quarterback. He broke our back in overtime when I was at Burke. Again, another guy that got away on a 3rd and forever, and he ran for forever.
Yeah.
Then they ended up scoring. They had a wide receiver, little sleek guy, Harding, who was really, really good.
Yeah.
Just a little on the small side. But I can remember.
Yeah, Silas. I remember Silas giving people fits.
Yeah.
That was
and they had another guy.
And that was early when people were adopting different kinds of offenses. Bellevue West was kind of on the front edge of that.
Yeah.
In mid-2000s.
Remember Jeff Sauter?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Gee, Merry Christmas. Oh, that's right. You guys played in the Thriller.
Yeah.
It was 200 to 170.
Yep, I remember Jeff Sauter.
God, he was a menace.
Yeah.
He was so good.
He gives me nightmares.
He gave a lot of people nightmares. The reason I was doing bare knuckle fighting. Nebraska was like, oh my God, you cannot be here. God, he was so good.
Yeah.
Well, that's how I felt. One of my favorite players of all time.
Who?
Is a Miller North guy. Now I'm going to forget his name, which is
what era?
03. Alley runner. Great, arguably the greatest tackler I've ever seen.
Jake Galusha.
Galusha.
Yeah, monster.
You
talk about mean-spirited.
So
holy cow.
So was it his mom? It's probably his probably his nephew.
Yeah.
He's a nephew maybe that's Breeze's age, Micah's age. Mike was playing flag football. So Mike is young. He's playing for Michigan Lance. So Mike was probably 3rd or 4th grade.
Little bitty.
And Galusha's mom was at the game. And she must know that I have an affinity for her son. And she goes, "Oh, my coworkers were telling me what you said about Jake." And I was like, I'm looking at her. I'm like, "You're his mom?" And I'm an adult. I'm telling we did some of their games for Cox.
Yeah.
He's in the discussion. Galusha's in the discussion for best high school players I've seen live of all.
He's unbelievable.
Time.
Good offensive player too, but defense he was a menace.
I just watched him. He's a soul snatcher.
Yeah. That's a dude that in today's era, his options as far as offers would be way, way better because he'd just be out there more.
He's
like, that's a dude that unbelievable.
I saw him make a play on a jet sweep against Burke, against another really good player, Travis Lichty, where I was like, props to both of them for getting up.
Yeah.
He's
violence.
He's running the alley.
Yeah.
And Lichty's and he was really good on those sweeps. And it was just like, oh my gosh, is everybody okay? It was like a sonic boom.
Yeah.
Galusha he belongs in that discussion.
Yeah.
He top 10 of.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. He was incredible.
Yeah, I have a huge affinity for Jake Galusha. And, what's funny is, like, really good offensive player, too. Like, really good.
Well, so was Shada.
Yeah.
Which is criminal how it was so brief.
Yeah. He was the best offensive player in the state for 7 games.
Yeah, you know what? That's probably not a reach.
I don't think it is.
That's probably not. I know he went for a first down. I remember we did the stats. He was going for like 11 a carry.
Yeah. And
11.
He had like 1,200 yards in 7 games.
I'm like.
He made All-State on 7 games.
Like every time he touches it, it's a first down.
Yeah.
He
only started quarterback that 1 year.
Seems like a lot.
Because McCardle was there before him.
Again. So I saw that guy have 53 carries.
Yeah. That's a dude that
I was a big McCardle guy.
McCardle was really, really good. But yeah,
he used to train at the same place I did.
He's
at Cybotic.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
I'd always sit there and I'd be like, Iowa, I know you got some offensive problems. Like Shada's pretty
Where
good.
Where did he end up going? Was McCardle K-State?
He went to K-State for a while, and then I think he ended up at UNO for a little bit. That dude could play.
Relentless.
Low center of gravity guy.
Relentless.
Yeah. He probably had more spectacular runs than Shada just because of
he's so hard to get to the ground.
Yes. So low to the ground. But Shada just had that, oh my God, speed.
Yeah.
Like he would hit a seam and you're like, good night.
Yeah, the Galusha thing gives me chills.
Yeah.
Not a guy I'd love to have played against.
You know who was really – this is the last one, then we'll take a break here. You would remember him and almost nobody else would.
Ike Chima?
Keith Lloyd.
Oh, yeah.
He was a Division I thrower, but unbelievable fullback, unbelievable defensive end, and also kicked and punted for us.
Yeah, he's the biggest punter I'd ever seen, maybe.
He's huge. That's one of those where like, dear God, don't let the punter get to me.
Yeah. Like he'd roll it just didn't look right.
Yeah.
He looked at his gear. I'm like, I shouldn't be punting.
He was good at it, though.
He was, I don't want to say this without really knowing him. I just know he played.
Yeah.
Pretty mean guy.
Nicest dude in the world.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, a light switch flipper.
I didn't know him super well, but he was friends with he was really good friends with some of the people I was close with.
He was the guy that we call him a look backer.
Yeah.
Where after they dusted you off,
just can't look back.
He'd always look back, and I always thought he was like checking to see if you got up.
Like, you okay, bud?
Yeah.
You alive?
He wasn't a Mike. He wasn't. Yeah. He was a look backer.
Yeah. I didn't know him super well, but as far as I knew him, nicest guy in the world. Just super nonchalant.
Wyatt Missouri.
What's up?
Thomas, I remember I did Wyatt Missouri's game in state finals. I think he scored.
Wyatt Missouri was really good.
He had a pick six. He had a punt return. He had a regular run. I think he threw for one. He may have scored. Somebody's going to have to fact check. I remember him scoring 5 different ways.
Oof.
In state.
Unbelievable.
I was like,
So if there's a look backer,
he was so good at zone.
Yeah.
Yeah, his ability to navigate space, and I think I said this during the broad. Isn't weird how my mind works? Like navigating space. I'm like, he's so good at seeing where he wants to get to. It was like his superpower.
Yeah.
He could negotiate space without it even really opening up yet. He was super gifted in space.
Weird. I feel like you don't see that in football as much. That's one of the things I really like about certain basketball players, like their ability to negotiate where they want to get to on the floor. That you're like, I don't really know. Like, he's not that fast. He doesn't have that great of a handle. He's not really putting moves on guys, but somehow just seems to get to
where he's going,
like every single time.
Yeah.
And you're like, I don't really know what to do with that, except for say he's a great court navigator, and that's a superpower. Like, Wyatt Mazur is a lot like that.
So if there's a look backer and you were going into the other one, the Mike, what's that?
Well, you know how you just name linebackers, like you're either a Mike or a Will or a Sam or Strong, weak side. Nobody has a position called a look backer, but that's what I called him, because he was always checking to see if
you're still alive,
if you were in the dirt.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I'm serious.
Him and Galusha were on the same team.
Yeah, a lot of those guys, Game Dog from the 82 West Side team, came to talk to us before state.
Yeah.
Last year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Taylor and those guys. Oh yeah, there's about 7 of them, because it's happened to coincide with their reunion. Yeah, those guys were legit.
A little walk down memory lane.
I don't even know how we got there.
I think we were talking about players we had an affinity for. I don't remember how exactly. I don't know how we get to most of the stuff we talk to.
It happens. It happens.
We're going to talk to Mike Schaefer coming up next. That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla. We'll be back more Hurrdat Sports Live.
Avery Howard here with Caden Bodine, because Coastal Carolina is 2-0 in the College World Series. You guys put up 3 runs in the first inning. How much did that set the tone for this game tonight?
It was huge. Thorndike got us the big inning, and it was really huge 3 runs for us and to set the tone.
Your pitcher tonight, Jacob Morrison, doing what he does. You're the guy back there. What do you see from him that makes him so effective?
I think just his competitiveness. He's always out there, thinks he's better than everybody else, and it's just a good mentality out there.
Coach Schnall called your pitching coach, Matt Williams, a difference maker. How is he taking this pitching staff to the next level this year?
I think just pitch calling and making the minor tweaks each guy. I mean, Lynch made a great leap from last year to this year. He has a point, whatever ERA, and he's just been dominant for us.
Your head coach also makes a point to tell everyone that he has the best backstop in the country anytime he can. When your head coach talks about you like that, what kind of confidence does it give you?
It's awesome. I mean, I have a high respect for Coach Schnall. He's my favorite coach of all time. And I think it all comes down to Matt Williams and the coaching staff. They do a phenomenal job, and they make the right pitches, and they help me look good back there.
We're in the neighborhood, just down the street. With a wide variety of home equity products to help you create a relaxing oasis. So you can kick back and relax in comfort. Centris Federal Credit Union. We are where you are.
Stays alive in Omaha. Jake Monroe, you got things started there in the 8th inning. I want to go back to the 5th, though, and that dugout conversation before you guys hit in the 6th. What was that message like?
It was a tough one. It was tough love. Just telling us that we got to do whatever we can do to move the baseball. Just fight, and get things going. And, you know, we didn't get things going right away, but it got to the 8th inning, and we were able to get some stuff done.
Yeah, what was the catalyst of that 8th inning in your eyes?
I think just Eddie's single, move the ball, and I just think the guys' like willingness to just try to move the baseball. Like we didn't beat them with hard hits. We dropped some balls in, but that's good things happen when you move the baseball.
You told me a couple days ago this team came in feeling disrespected with a chip on their shoulder. Why can you never count this team out?
I mean, if you paid attention all year, we've done this all year. We have multiple walk-offs, multiple comebacks. We're the best team in the last 3 innings.
For you and your journey, started at JUCO the past 2 years, how special of a moment is this for you to be in Omaha?
This is awesome. Getting that first win in Omaha has been amazing. The crowd, the atmosphere, just playing with these guys has been amazing.
You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Live, covering Nebraska football and recruiting for 24/7 Sports. Here is Mike J. Schaefer.
Yeah, that's a grown-ass man right there.
Mike Schaefer.
I don't know. There could be bacon involved.
Mike Schaefer.
I appreciate it, guys. Thank Brian Edwards for me.
Here is Mike Schaefer.
Kicking off hour number 3 here on Hurrdat Sports Live, presented by Centris Federal Credit Union. That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla. We are joined now by Mike Schaefer from Husker 24/7. What's up, Schaefer?
Not a ton. How are you guys doing?
Mike J., how was your Father's Day?
Oh, good. It
Yeah.
was good. We played some golf. It was Hudson's first time on the golf course, which actually turned out to be a bit of a cheat code because he would go up to the green and then pick up my ball and then go put it in the hole. So I didn't have to putt very often.
And it's a lot safer than when you've got him in the batting cages or on the bump throwing bullpen sessions. So that's got to have its advantages, doesn't it?
Yeah, he has not been in a batting cage yet. He did run the bases and was on a pitcher's mound last week on Wednesday for the first time. And I got to say, the sheer joy on his face as he took 7 minutes to go from home plate to first, just like his dad, was just impressive.
Yeah,
you know?
way ahead of you at 2, man. You just wait. You just wait. Creating a monster over there.
Shafe, what's the penalty if a toddler picks up the ball on the green? Or does it just count? How does that work?
As far as I understand, it's similar to like if a bird just picks up your ball and drops it somewhere. You play it as it lies, and if it just so happens he picks it up and puts it in the hole, then
Act of nature, yeah.
I'm not going to count it as a hole in one, but would I mark it as a birdie? Probably. Try to get my score down a little bit.
Mark it quick.
Yeah. So
it's like the guys at the Open this weekend kind of jogging to get their balls marked. That was a travesty.
They need to not play there again.
Thank you.
I had this conversation with Jess on Husker Sports Nightly.
Conditions. I don't want courses where guys are going 29 under or whatever Scotty Scheffler was at the Byron Nelson earlier this spring. But I also that's not fun to watch either. That's there's got to be like a happy medium somewhere between there. I will say I was very excited for JJ Spawn. That's kind of who I was rooting for coming down the back nine, and then that putt, that was a cool way to end what was a pretty brutal U.S. Open.
So I was talking about this with Jess. I didn't mind, kind of the mental fortitude and kind of the battling and the toughness. Now, do I think guys should have to hit balls out of slight puddles, or, if you miss hit a ball by what would roughly equate to 2 inches, could be the difference between staying on the green and off. So I'm not necessarily talking about that, but I'm not going to go all Tyrell Hatton on us either. But I didn't mind the mental grind of it and watch guys have to manage that. Is there any Do you mind that at all?
No, I mean, like it's not that I want it to be easy for him, but I also don't really want to turn in to watch Sam Burns try to hit a ball out of essentially prairie grass around the green.
Yeah.
And then it goes like half a foot, and it's just I don't know. That's not particularly fun for me. Like I would rather see a Sunday charge from somebody where they're playing well, and not just because they happen to survive the total carnage around them. And it's not to take anything away from it. J.J. Spawn played as well as anybody over the 4 days. It's just I personally there's got to be some level between just whatever Oakmont was here and the Byron Nelson where we can have a major. And the British is like this sometimes where you'll get really tough conditions and you'll see 3 under win it, or you'll also see where a 20 under wins it if it's not tough conditions at all. So it's just kind of the nature of what the week is and everything. But I just don't need to see that rough around the green. That thing was giving me nightmares. I struggle when it's very far from PGA conditions. I can't even imagine what it's like to hit out of that when you're next to the green and you have to chip out of it and then land it on something that is just a sheet of ice and is undulated and is just going to fly. So, but that's why they're professionals. I mean, some people absolutely love it. Like there's some people who this is their favorite of the events. For me, it's an easy third. I will take the Masters and the British over the U.S. Open every time.
Which do you think was easier to watch? I said this to Ravi kind of in passing yesterday, and I don't know why we got started on it. I think it was streaks in Major League Baseball. Oh, we were talking about his Red Sox, and I was like, well, Ravi, I said,
did anything happen with them this weekend?
I said, Ravi, I said, I know that. Oh, he in typical, Ray fashion, my man melted down.
I think reasonably so. I think my reaction was reasonable.
I don't know that Damon would understand a team trading away a talented player because.
We moved off of Darren Dreifert and Kevin Brown. I know all about that.
Oh wow! Darren Dreifert.
Who does Mookie Betts play for right now?
I'm sorry.
Never mind.
I'm sorry. No, you want the? So I'll give you one. I'll give you one, and it kind of bugged me.
Who?
Cody Bellinger. Matt Kemp.
I mean, again, the problem with that is those guys were apex of their career in the same way that you could maybe make the argument for Bellinger, but I think he had fallen pretty hard from his MVP season to when they moved him. Matt Kemp wasn't the same player when they traded him.
Ravi's sitting on one that when I say it is the one that hurt me the most.
Which one was that?
Kyle Seager. Seager cut me to the core. Corey Seager. I said Kyle, his brother. I'm not a Mariners guy. Corey Seager. Cut me to the.
You and Michael Stibbs start talking Mariners so much that you're in on Kyle.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot Stibbs, the lifelong Mariners fan. Yeah, Corey Seager was one. I probably. Yeah, that one. I'm not even revisiting it, to be honest.
You gonna be all right?
Well, because you could see it coming about halfway through the season that he may not get re-signed.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm not gonna have.
It's okay by not bringing him back, though. I mean, frees up their IL for all their pitchers.
Do you know? And joy has been rare as of late. But do you know the joy that I took in knowing the Dodgers could use a new arm last night and didn't have to use up a roster spot. That was
that's I'm glad he's back pitching. It's sort of a fascinating deal, like as a total baseball nerd, this idea that Shohei Ohtani won't be able to go on a rehab assignment because he's not actually on the injured list. So his rehab is at the major league level. And like it's just kind of
it is fascinating.
Wild. And he is that good where it's like he can sort of just step in. He's just been throwing bullpens off to the side for however long. And then here he is just pitching in a Major League Baseball game. And it wouldn't shock me if in a month from now he has like a 6-inning, 2-hit performance with like 8 strikeouts. So he is just incredible. Like as much as I make fun of the Dodgers and just sort of how they're on easy street relative to everyone else, getting to watch Shohei Ohtani makes it relatively worthwhile. That guy is unlike anything else I've seen in baseball in my life.
I don't know.
Incredible.
I don't know the last time you've taken a deep dive in terms of Dylan Cease, but did you expect him to be better as a father, as a Padre?
Yeah, I mean, he's just sort of he's in that Blake Snell category. When he's on, he's one of the best strikeout pitchers and hard to hit and everything else. When he's slightly off, when the command is slightly off, he's going to be walking a lot of people, a little more hittable, and not going to be able to go deep into games. I mean, it's just sort of I think if your team has a Dylan Cease, it's kind of a 50-50 what version you're going to get from start to start. And then when he locks in, you're going to get like a 10 to 12 start stretch where he's one of the best pitchers in baseball. You just have to be willing to put up with everything long enough to get to that. I mean, that's kind of what Blake Snell is. That's why the Dodgers were interested in him, because if you get to that and then you throw that at the front of your rotation, it's really, really hard to beat in the playoff series if he's that version. I don't know if Dylan Cease has that in him right now, though. I mean, he's been kind of struggling all year. We're now into June, but again, if that switch flips, he is going to be really good, because that's just the sort of stuff that he has. It's a matter of, can he control it?
And the least surprising news ever, Mike J. Schaefer, you will be stunned to know that I said the acquisition of Blake Snell was a little overrated, because his career, if you look at his – is that funny, Ravi?
Yeah. Yeah.
His career, his success is inflated by a mile.
He either wins the Cy Young or he's like one of the least successful pitchers in baseball. Like
Are you laughing?
You're either going to get a great version of him, or you're going to get, you're going to be just pulling your hair out.
Yeah.
If you have it.
Yeah.
There's not a single acquisition that you like, big time acquisition that you're like, yes, I'm on board.
It's not true.
You know why I'm
when you're used to having.
I was tickled by Mookie Betts.
14 big acquisitions a year. How can you get excited about any of them?
You know why I'm so mad about it too, Schaefer, is because like that's for all, like I just want the Red Sox to operate that way. And they can. Like I get you're sort of in a different spot with Cleveland because they're not really like financially in the same boat. Like Boston could do that if they wanted to. They used to, and now they're just like, no, we're going to trade away all our good players. It's fine.
I mean, the disgusting thing is all of the teams could do that.
Yes, they could. They could. You're right.
The fact that we have to pretend like they're run like it's a mom and pop business is a joke, with the financial incentives and breaks and everything else that they all get. Yeah, it would have to be maddening to be a Red Sox fan, knowing that you have one of the most financially successful sports teams, not just baseball, sports teams. And they're operated like they're on a shoestring budget.
You know, the worst part is they have two of the most financially successful sports teams, because the same group also owns Liverpool in the Premier League.
Right.
And they do spend like this with Liverpool, and they're just like, just kidding, we're not going to do this with the Red Sox anymore.
I'm not going to kid you guys. Sometimes I wonder if the money in soccer is even real when you hear about these numbers.
It's not. It's like crypto. It's just all made up.
I don't understand the numbers.
Doesn't it? No, it's like, so the guy I was talking about.
How are you paying $157 million for a guy that you want to acquire?
So they paid $113 for the transfer fee. That's that's not even salary. They paid $113 million to the other team just to be like, hey, he's ours now. And then they have to pay the $157 in salary. But then somehow their financial model says they're upside down on the $250 that's left to Rafi. Like,
but
what are we doing?
Isn't that what you have to do with the format of how the league is set up, though?
It is, but you can't tell me that you're crying poverty over here in Boston, but in Liverpool, you're like, we can just write checks. It's no big deal.
Schaefer,
do you think the $250 wouldn't matter if the relationship was better between Devers and the organization? I don't.
You know what I
felt like
You know what I think it is, Schaefer? I think they were jerking him around because they were mad about the money.
Well, I also think, and he's mad because they told him to put his glove away. If he ends up playing any first base in San Francisco,
it's a huge middle finger to.
But I'm telling you that's what you'll know what it was.
Yeah, but here's the thing: I think they were jerking him. Like I came around this way in like the last 36 hours. I think they were jerking him around because they wanted to get rid of him. Like I legitimately it sounds like, because Breslow is a big dork, like a big math nerd head, which like is great, but you can't make all your decisions that way. He was so mad that their model was showing them upside down on a contract, which isn't even a real thing, by the way. Like it's not. It's just a thing they've sort of made up. They're like, oh, we're upside. It's not like it's not a piece of land.
They can justify it. They can just justify things that way. I have to say, one of the big surprises for me in this whole thing, even more than Devers being traded, I didn't realize Craig Breslow, former reliever Craig Breslow, was the Red Sox GM. That took me back to, I'm pretty sure he was on the 2013 team with Terry Francona when they made their first kind of playoff run with him. They got to the wild card and lost to the Rays, and he was on that team. And so I was just like, Craig Breslow. And then I look, and of course he went to Yale, and so of course, former player who went to Yale, natural front office material. Of course, it just makes sense.
Yeah, I mean,
anybody that goes to an Ivy League school, clearly they're the most conditioned to be a general manager in the sport.
What could go wrong?
Hey, so
what could go wrong?
at the risk
what
of
percentage of front offices have like at least one Ivy League member in them? It's got to be 100%.
At this point, it's 100%.
I'd say 100. Yeah,
I would bet you it's 100%.
I'm going to say 1 for 1.
That's all they hire.
Yeah.
It's incredible. You have the same people thinking the same things, and we wonder why the sport gets boring.
I blame Billy Bean.
Mike J, at the risk
Who
of
did not go to the Ivy League.
Ironically, didn't go to any college, ironically enough.
The best thing about not having hard outs is we can stretch Mike J because he's versatile, especially in June. Remember when people used to get so mad at me that we only had 18 minutes to talk to you, Schaefer, and we would only talk recruiting like the last 5 minutes? It used to drive this one particular listener crazy. So
like, ask him about this guy.
I'm going to stretch you a little further, Schaefer, because we have a little time. I get where the Tigers are. But where I was going with the original win streak question in the Red Sox before Ravi had some more traumatic stress.
Apologize.
Was yesterday I told him, I said, you know what's interesting? Even though the Red Sox have won 5 in a row, and the only other team that had that kind of winning streak was the Astros, who had at that time won 5 in a row. But the losing streak belonged to the Royals. The Nats are at 9 now. I think the Royals are at whatever. What are they?
They were at 6 yesterday.
And they didn't play. They're still at 6. So I said, nobody's running away, or the Central is just the Central because nobody's played over 500 baseball. It was the only division, Schaefer, in the last 10 where they didn't have anybody that played over 500, and yet the Tigers are still up 9. Are you encouraged or discouraged?
No, I'm pretty discouraged. I mean, it's the problem I have is this was visible from the offseason with Cleveland. Like they were in the ALCS last year, and they lost a bunch of 1- and 2-run games against a team that looked at their legendary bullpen with what Cleveland did last year and like, okay, well, can they get these guys out? Cleveland couldn't. And so you would think the natural thing you would do in the offseason when you go to the ALCS is you would try to invest in your offense. And that's not what they did at all, other than signing Carlos Santana, who would be, a nice 7th or 8th hitter in your lineup, and they have to bat him 4th because they didn't do anything. And, of course, they're going to just tell us that calling up some of their young prospects is like trading for players, even though internally they produced like one all-star player that's come out of their farm system in the last decade, and that's Stephen Kwan.
Yeah.
So, obviously Jose has 2, but he debuted in 2013, so he doesn't really count in the last 10 years. So they've done a horrible job of identifying and developing position players, and they don't like to spend any money in the free agent market. So it just forces you to watch them churn through a bunch of quad A players and hope that they have successful weeks enough that they can kind of pull this whole thing together. Meanwhile, I don't know if you guys have noticed, Jose Ramirez is having one of the best seasons of his career. And that's coming a year after he went 39 homers, 41 steals. And now he's hitting 330. It might be under 330 because he went 0 for 4 on Sunday. But he's hitting like 330 with 13 homers and 19 steals. And like he looks like a lock to go at least 20-20, probably 30-30. And he wants to do 40-40. So, I mean, he's playing incredible. And they have just surrounded him with literally just a bunch of guys. Like that's their entire offense, and their pitching isn't as good this year. So they're just kind of they're a very mediocre team. It's hard to watch them because you literally have to hope someone hits a double. They ground out perfectly to second base so they can get over to third. And then you can't even bank on a sacrifice fly. You have to hope for a wild pitch. That's, like 3 of their runs every week are just sort of the most inexplicable, like this doesn't happen to other teams, but that's how they score. And they only average like 3.5 runs a game. So it's pretty brutal.
All right, Mike J., we were talking earlier about, with guys like Vlad and Stone and what Nebraska's doing. We talked a ton. You're going to be surprised in June. We talked a ton of recruiting, like kind of in depth. And it's been more philosophical than the tangible. And this was on the heels of, where Nebraska ranks in terms of the Big Ten and, high school classes versus, where they're at with the youth of their roster and all sorts of things. But you get a guy like Stone to surprise Nebraska to some degree and visit this weekend as opposed to going to Georgia where most people thought he was going to wind up. Is it too much credit to talk about Nebraska's what they do behind the scenes in terms of their homework and the nuances of what they know about whether it's people or cultures or whatever? Like they're always constantly trying to find these edges. And it appears to be working, at least to some degree, to garner interest with top-flight recruits. We know it's not money.
Right. I think one of the things that they've done extraordinarily well in this cycle is identify talent before other people have. I mean,
that's what we talked about.
They had offered that particular defensive lineman before he was even at the Army All-American.
Yep.
Or the All-American. It's not the Army one anymore. They offered him in December. And they have a connection with Brandon Collier, the guy who's, for the lack of a better term, the handler for Stone. But, so they identified him early, and they had that relationship early. They identified T.J. Brano before literally anyone else.
Obit in Idaho.
Yep. I mean, they have done a really nice job identifying these people. And in particular, they've done a nice job with defensive backs because if they're able to get, guys like Jackson and Danny Odom to come in this weekend, Nebraska was on them pretty early. Now, Jackson was committed to Florida, so he was more of a known thing. But Danny Odom, when Nebraska offered him, it was like Nebraska, Pittsburgh, he's originally from Pennsylvania, and a couple other schools. And Nebraska was in there very early. Now you go look at Danny Odom. He was just at Ohio State this past weekend. He's going to Penn State. He was at Auburn earlier. He went
same thing with Carpenter.
Oklahoma.
Right?
So they're
Remember Coach Rule's little deal about he's like, you guys think we find diamonds in the rough. We offer a guy, and it's no big deal. He's talking about Noah. And he says then he said the kid camps at Ohio State, and all of a sudden they know what they're doing. It's like we trust our talent evaluating process.
Yeah, the problem, at least in this cycle, is they have to prove that they can get them too. And I think you mentioned earlier talking about where they rank in Big Ten recruiting or just recruiting ranking. I know this is sort of sacrilegious as a recruiting guy. I would encourage people to not think about the rankings in this class because it's not a traditional class. I mean, they're going to take 12 to 15 high school guys. They're going to turn around, and their portal class is largely going to be based on how the team plays. If they go and they play well and they have a bunch of these young guys that are playing well, then they're not going to just take a bunch of immediate one-year portal players.
Yep.
They're going to be a little bit judicious about what they bring in, and they're going to look for some guys that maybe were overlooked or didn't have opportunities on their program that have multiple years that they could come in, develop, and help. Or if they have a rough year this year, like let's say they go 7-5 or 6-6, and it's imperative that they win a bunch of games in 2026, they've allowed themselves the flexibility that they would have space to be able to get a fair amount of one-year plug-and-play type players. They haven't overspent on the high school portion of their, NIL with their recruiting class. Like they have given themselves a ton of flexibility to operate based on how the season goes, while also stacking the deck in their favor that if they have a good year this year, the 2027 class looks like it could be really good. So for like the 50th time in the last, I don't know how many of her appearances, if Nebraska wins football games, they have set themselves up for long-term success in a really nice way. The big thing is they have to go prove that they're capable of winning football. Like they have done, I think, a really nice job of sort of having their cake and eating it too. They have to finish off this class. It's not going to look remarkable. I do think they're going to be devoid of star power ultimately at the top of the class unless they win a bunch of games and flip people late. But I think they just allowed themselves to be fluid and move in whatever direction they need to when it gets to December. If they have to go get a bunch of guys out of the portal, they'll have the money and the ability and the space to do it. If they don't have to, then they're going to be able to operate great for 2027. They're probably flipping some 2026s and still going to work out fine. I think that there is a deeper level to Nebraska's recruiting class this year. What meets the eye when you look at where they're ranked at the moment.
Yeah, color me intrigued because Caleb will not give me any lunch money. If they don't keep Brunna and get Darian Jones, because this dude is hosting guys all the time. He's got to get he got to start to come through so I can at least eat over the next handful of days, Schaefer. So color me curious. I got permission.
Lock him out of the house. Change the garage code on him.
Schaefer, that's me. They do that too.
Whatever you got to do.
So here's the deal though. Like on all honesty, and I got permission from his dad. I asked, but I was walking into 7-on-7 yesterday, and I saw Darian's dad, and he's walking, and I'm like, D, what's up? And he says the first thing he said, it's just he and I, right? And he said, "Man, let me tell you how smart Coach Rule is." And I set this up to Ravi. I'm like, "Hey, Iowa guy, he's had to learn to love Nebraska." And my immediate reply was, "Oh God, I think the exact same way. Say less, like do tell." Mm-hmm. So he proceeds to kind of tell this story again. Shape the Iowa guy. I mean, Iowa rock, Iowa golf shoes, Iowa flags. Like this is Darian's dad. And he goes, so I get there for the OV, and they're getting ready to go to dinner. And he said, Coach Rule said, "Hey, how'd you like to eat with the governor?" And he's, D-Rock said, I kind of looked at him, and he's like, no, nothing political. No parties, no nothing. Just have dinner. So, D-Rock was like, yeah, okay, no problem. He said 2 seconds into it, Pillen's explaining, that he's a Nebraska alum and what a joy it was to play with his brother at the University of Nebraska. Is that not incredible? And I'm like, I try. It's great. It's great. It's great, right? And he's pretty smart. He's bright, right? He's done this recruiting thing, and he's like, I just was like, oh man. And I said, that is the greatest, least surprising thing that I have heard. It's just, and I know it's working with Sohn and just their ability to leave no stone unturned when they do this thing is incredible.
I think they put a lot into the psychology of each individual recruit.
That's it. That's a great way to put it.
And it's not like they're the first staff to attempt to do something like that, but I think they do a better job than most of determining what the value factors are and then how they can sort of shift what it is they think a kid would want. If they think someone's going to be more blown away by the facilities, they're going to get them extra time in the facilities. If they think that they want more time with a position coach, or if they're more intrigued by the NFL aspect, they're going to find a way to get them in front of guys who have spent time in the NFL or coached in the NFL or whatever it is. If they think that they're a total workout guy, then they're going to put them with Corey Campbell, and Corey Campbell's going to spend a bunch of time with them. If they think they're sort of, they're the body of the temple person, they're going to spend a lot of time with the nutritionist. Like I very much doubt any of my colleagues that work at other places at 24/7 Sports or give you the whole industry on free rivals, whatever. I bet the Nebraska people covering this write more about the team's nutritionist on a recruiting visit than anywhere else in the country. And people love her.
Yeah.
They love her. Like I have never met her. I should probably do a story about her at some point in time. But just the quotes are so glowing, and it's about a nutritionist.
Listen, she's the boss. She is the boss.
I just think they do a really smart job of figuring out what it is that people want, and it doesn't always work, right? Like it's not like they're batting 1,000%, but they're. We spent this talking about baseball, and they do a really nice job of trying to win in the margins. Like Nebraska, we can talk about what they might have for money and all these other things that they can offer, but they are also smart about trying to find just the littlest inch that might give them an advantage. And I think Darian Jones is going to be a really, really tough recruitment.
Mhm.
But if hearing the governor talk about the idea of playing with his brother, which is literally Nebraska's biggest and, quite frankly, only truly meaningful pitch. I mean, I think playing at home would be great. All of that would be great. But it's the idea of playing with God, right? Like whenever I talk to Darian, that's where the conversation always ends up going. It was a big thing for him this weekend, just hanging out with his brother's friends, feeling like he fit in with that group of Nebraska players.
Yeah.
Like that was a big, big deal. And I remember being 17 years old and joining my brother for his fraternity and hanging out with those guys and thinking if I went to Nebraska, I would probably join this fraternity too. So I think it's a smart play. It's the obvious one, but to get Jim Pillen involved and sort of play off of the Pillen brothers is pretty remarkable.
And
I did not see that coming when you started this.
When he said it, I just started laughing. He's telling the story, and I'm like,
that's all you can do.
I'm like, this guy he doesn't. And there's always these little stories like that. They're just so.
I think it's important that people know that I doubt Matt Rule went to the governor like, hey, I want you to bring this up. I guarantee it was more of when they were in a conversation, he sort of worked that in there, so it was front of mind.
Yeah.
So that's what Jim Pillen was talking about when they had this conversation. Like it's sort of pulling strings, and people don't even realize that they're being puppeted.
So you're saying Matt Rule was incepting the governor? Is that what's happening?
Oh, it's just.
I think there's an element to that, yeah.
It's just weird.
I don't want the governor's people calling me later today and telling me that that's how it happened. So, it's just a theory.
And it's just weird too, and I always have to be careful because I don't want to offend my coaches, and I try to be respectful. But I mean, I have known Darren since forever, and I give him a hug, and this is probably 30 minutes before he catches 2 touchdowns on us, and I'm not exaggerating. But we're kind of just shooting the breeze, and we're talking, and it's little things where he's like, man, Caleb's kind of getting into golf, and he took Donnie to Top Golf, and he goes, have you seen his roommate's golf clubs? And they live with this another player, Danny King, who is fantastic, and he's got a great set of clubs, and it doesn't have anything to do with they have Carolina blue head covers, but it's his high school's it's their colors.
Sure.
I'm serious,
obviously,
that's what it is. And he's like, man, you know how much my dad likes to golf? He thinks he's gonna always be able to beat me, and I'm just like, ooh, is that a chicken nugget? Like, do you want to learn how to golf? So these guys like to golf. So, I'm just, this is all these things going on in my head that I'm not saying anything, but it's just funny how the psychology of knowing who you're dealing with plays a lot bigger role than some of these guys that are always talking about, oh, it boils down to money or NIL. There's still some good old fashioned get to know somebody relationship recruiting too that I think is pretty good.
Adding into all of that, where was Darian Jones when he picked up his offer from Nebraska in April? On the golf course with his dad.
Yeah.
In Arizona.
It's all coming together. All tying together.
Mike J.
Schaefer, real quick before you let you go here, I was doing some quick math while we were talking to you, and because we were talking about class size and 12 to 15 this one, and we're not really sure what the transfer portal class will look like. If they have a good year, it's probably a small portal class as well. To that point, if I can add correctly, which is definitely up for debate, I believe there are 95 freshmen, redshirt freshmen, and sophomores on the roster.
That's pretty close.
Yep.
That's pretty close.
Which means it could be like this for a couple years if they're good, right? Like if they have a good year this year, like we might be having the same conversation next year where it's like, probably going to be a pretty small high school class. And if the season goes well, probably not looking at adding a ton in the transfer portal, going to be pretty targeted. Like, I'm just saying that, and I don't know how you feel about if that's how it's going to play out or how long it plays out this way. But with 95 guys and the roster limit coming as it's getting grandfathered in, you're probably looking at a situation where you go, hey, we may need to recalibrate sort of what we look at in terms of recruiting and how they operate.
Yeah, and all of that's going to be dependent on of those 95 young guys. Like, what are you getting from them?
Mm-hmm.
Are these guys that are, clear, write it in Sharpie on the 2 deep? Are they players that you still need to see a little bit more from? Are they people that you thought had potential or it was going to go one way and then clearly didn't? Are they guys that fit your program? Like, there's there's going to be enough player movement of that 95 where it would shake things loose for future classes. But at the same time, if what they went and got in 23 and 24 and 25, if those guys develop and a lot of them have stuck around, then yeah, you're in the sort of unique spot where the bigger thing is how do you keep the guys on your roster because you think they can help you too. Because what you don't want is for the guy who's running third at a position to be like, well, I don't know if there's a path here for me. I better jump in the portal and go find something else. But, you know, that can be a sign of a healthy program. I think people look at the portal and people leaving and think it only means bad things. Sometimes it could just mean, hey, it's really tight at the top. Like they got to go find opportunity elsewhere. And so, you know, and that's why it's a big year ahead. Like you got to see what you have on this roster. We spent so much time with a lot of these veterans that have seemingly been at Nebraska forever that are no longer here, that now we get to see some of these younger players and what they're going to be able to bring. And I'm thinking specifically both sides of the line, you know, offensive line, defensive line. You've had so many of these veterans. Now we're going to see where they're at with some of the young guys they went and got in these last couple cycles. And then linebacker. I mean, those are three positions right off the top of my head. Obviously defensive back where they have like 42 people of that 95. But, you know, we'll see there. I think that'll shake out on its own. But linebacker and the two lines, I think we're going to learn a lot about what they have in terms of young depth early in their career, even this season alone.
That's our guy, Mike J. Schaefer, Husker 24/7. Schaefer, appreciate the time and kind of the leeway you always give us to talk about whatever we want. Good talking to you. Good talking to you as always. We'll get you next week.
That was an incredible 35-minute conversation that I just realized is 35
Yeah,
minutes.
it just blew by, man. I had to check the clock.
That's how you know you're having fun, right?
And considering Shane hasn't logged us indoors. I get it. You're getting ready to say, go ahead, get your walk. Oh, that's one way to look at it. Go ahead, Schaefer. I know you're going to find a way to pee in my cereal.
Oh, you're good. I'm in a great mood today. I'm going down to the CWS later today. It's, you know, supposed to rain, of course, for the game that I'm going to, but we'll see what Coastal Carolina looks like tonight. They kind of look like a tour de force a little bit.
Yeah, just remember to say chance.
Yeah, he'll get mad at you. Don't say chance. Chance.
Say it. He said, say it with me. I was like, wow. Schnall is wild.
Schaefer, just make sure you pray to the Oma Dome that you stay dry out there. You get a baseball game in, all right?
Yeah, well, whatever happens, happens. You know, I'll be in Eeyore either way. It'll either be too sunny for me or I'll be too wet. So.
Make a sacrifice to the Oma Dome gods, Schaefer. We'll get it done.
Okay.
All right, bud. We'll talk to you later.
Guys.
Good old Schaefer.
If he's Eeyore, am I like Winnie the Pooh since I'm always whining? What do we be characters?
Maybe you're Christopher Robin.
Do dumb stuff like Tigger? What? Say it slow. Don't be going all crazy.
T.I.
Hey, you gave me that look. I'm well aware of what I said. Wow.
If you're heading down to the baseball game today or heading downtown, make sure you skip the traffic.
I thought you said Digger with a D.
Like Phelps? Take Metro Transit, park for free at West Roads, take the Orbit downtown.
Guys are flirting.
Get down there.
Doesn't take much.
Free ballpark bus runs every 10 minutes from the Chuck to Dodge. After the game, head to 10 the Capitol to catch fastball Orbit back home. ometro.com to plan your trip. I'm not getting in any trouble today. I'm on my best behavior. I've been nice today for the most part. We're going to try and keep it up. That's DB. I'm Ravi. More Hurrdat Sports Live coming up next.
You're watching Hurrdat Sports.
If you want to meet Hurrdat Sports out here at the baseball village, this is the worst place to go on the Ferris wheel. But you would be able to find it because we are out at the corner next to the old mat. And you could find sunglasses, hats, T-shirts, all the good stuff. And who knows, maybe you'll even run into Kyle Byers.
Yeah, rally towels. We got a bunch of candy down there. It's awesome. You know, like the best time of the year is this event because you get to swing through. You get to literally see the entire team all working together from Hurrdat Sports. And we're giving away stuff.
Yeah, and what else would you rather do than come hang out with us, sweat a little bit in the humidity, and then ride the Ferris wheel, which you can tell the baseball game's going on behind us as well. Logan's behind the camera. I mean, it's a full team effort today.
Yeah, and you know what? You've got the Omaha skyline right over there. You've got the ballpark right behind us, and then literally 600 different types of food that you can buy on the way from there all the way to the ballpark. So, yeah, I mean, you literally can't get it any better than sitting down here.
I'm Ravi Lulla.
I'm Kenny Bell.
We're here from Hurrdat Sports. Don't worry, Metro Transit has you covered right here on the ballpark bus. Gonna run from right here down by the stadium, north of downtown, all the way up to Dodge Street, making a circle to drop you off wherever you need to go.
Oh, beautiful. So what's it cost?
It is free. It runs every 10 minutes, and it'll run almost all day until an hour after the last game. Or Kenny, if you're like me, you don't want to deal with driving downtown at all, Metro Transit has you covered there too. You can park out at Westroads for free and get a ride downtown through Orbit.
That's right. They added an extra Orbit stop at 10th and Capitol. Only $1.25. Fills up after the game. Quick, nice service. Right back out to Westroads.
$2.50 round trip. Can't beat it.
And free parking? You kidding me?
Plan your trip or track your bus at myride.ometro.com.
Or download the MyRide OMA app.
Imagine your first dream home and the feeling of walking inside for the first time. With Centrist Federal Credit Union's First Time Home Buyers program, you are at the doorstep of bringing your vision to life. Welcome home. From your neighborhood mortgage experts, Centrist Federal Credit Union. We are where you are.
How do you describe what we just witnessed here in Omaha?
I don't think you'll ever see that ever again. He's an ultimate competitor. Gage Wood, great teammate. He's one of those kids when he's done pitching, he's in the dugout, he's a vocal leader. He's just a leader on and off the field. So happy that could happen for him and his family. And believe it or not, he's a better fisherman than he is a pitcher, so he's a great kid. Love that to happen for him. We needed that as a team. Got 10 hits, but couldn't get many runs in. Wind blowing straight in at 20 miles an hour, so that was just big, huge for the team, and we get to play tomorrow now.
When did you know Gage Wood was so locked in?
When he started striking out everybody. He just pounds the strike zone. He's got an elite fastball, but his competitive nature is just through the roof, and I love playing defense behind him.
How about a shout out for Ryder Helfrich too, and behind the plate and calling that game?
Yeah, that was one of the first things we said when we were in the thing back there in the team huddle. We were like, Ryder calls all the pitches, so that's even almost as cool for Ryder than it is for Gage. It's just a special moment. I haven't really processed it all yet, but very cool for the team.
You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Live.
Out of the great Northwest comes the legendary Bigfoot.
Bigfoot! Bigfoot! Hey, Bigfoot! I was just looking for you. Bigfoot is a good friend of mine.
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live. That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla here at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill. We are joined now by Harriet McFeely, who we affectionately dubbed the Bigfoot Lady. Harriet, how are you this morning?
I am just fantastic. How are you guys?
We are great, Harry. It's been a couple years since I talked to you, and we used to talk to you every year, and you were kind of just getting started.
We're rocking and rolling now.
Are you surprised or not really? That
yes.
you've grown. Okay.
Yes, to both of them.
So how did it happen? Like it definitely, did it seem like overnight, or walk us through the growth process of year one to like you just finished up a couple of weeks ago. What was the process?
You mean from the very beginning?
No, just from the growth of it since the beginning.
Oh, the growth. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it was an idea. It was a dream. My husband and I talked about it about 8 or 9 years ago. And, we just added to it, and I met other people and we visited, and it seemed like a lot of people had the same vision, but we didn't really put it all together. And so it all started in the city auditorium here in Hastings. And
yeah.
I'll never forget, they asked me, how many people do you expect? And I said, 25. And the first night there was 250 people that walked in, and I was absolutely just flabbergasted. I couldn't believe it. So every year we've added over 100 people every year now.
Wow, that's incredible. Harriet, I do have to ask, I want to go all the way back to the beginning. Like, where did the fascination or the interest with Bigfoot originate? Like, where did that come from? What got you onto this path where you say, hey, like, I feel like I need to know more?
Yeah, did that come from Dick, or was that you too, Dick?
No, that came, actually, I know the exact date that I started. It was in 1953, I think, and that was the day that Sir Edmund Hillary climbed to the top of Mount Everest. And on the way up, there was a big, huge footprint right where he started at. And there was a picture on TV, and I got it, and it's on my wall. And from then on, I was just on fire. I was only 8 years old. And now you know how old I am. Ooh, darn it. But anyway, at that time, there was only 2 books in our whole library. And, of course, no TV shows, nothing. But I just kept on going and going. And I've never lost my fire or my interest. I love it. And the people that come not only to the museum, but also to our big conference, they are just absolutely terrific. And, the first time that I meet them, they're a stranger. Before they leave, we're becoming friends. And after 10 years, we're really friends. It's just, every year, it's like a huge, giant family reunion.
Speaking of giants and families, not to play on words, but the last time I talked to you was right after COVID, and we were talking about one of your latest discoveries where I don't know if Bigfoot babies is the right thing, but you were talking about some markings on a tree and maybe some is it little Bigfoots? I don't know, but that was kind of where you were then. Remind our listeners about that time period and what you've learned about the family structure of Bigfoot since then.
Oh boy, that's a big question. There's a lot of markings on the trees, and they make a lot of structures, a lot of X's and arches and all kinds of things like that. And the main thing I think is, if you're driving, you have to get off the interstate and the highway, and you need to get on just the little back gravel roads that follow the creeks up and down this whole state. And once you get familiar with their the structures that they build, you will see them everywhere. And I always tell people, if you see something like that, that's where you want to go camping at if you want to have a good time.
So Okay. So there's no fear of like being around their little ones and maybe being overprotective or anything like that. It's just like, hey, hop on in, or kind of what have your experiences been?
Well, I've been around, I think we would probably, they're like about a teenager size. I've seen two of those, and I think they might have been twins because they were really close in size.
Whoa, twins.
But of course, mom and dad were there. I met right off the bat, my very first time out ever camping in my entire life. I saw four of them. There was dad and mom and two kids. And that is a wild story. And most people don't believe it, and I hardly do either. But I was with a school teacher in Colorado, and she'd been going to the same place for 10 years. Which I'm convinced that's why people have sightings, because they knew her and they trusted her and they knew she would not hurt them. So we went up in the mountains, and she was leading the pack. It was an all-ladies team, and there was five of us, five newbies. And she went up in the mountains, and she yelled, "Hey guys, come on down. I got some friends I'd like you to meet." And I thought, this woman has gone crazy. That's exactly. I couldn't believe it. And it wasn't even 5 minutes later, and there was crunching on the leaves. And first Dad came. He was standing right across from me, about 6 or 7 feet away. And next came Mom, and next came two kids.
Huh.
And that was my first real life introduction to them. But it was so amazing to me. Of course, it ruined my sleep for 2 weeks, but I just couldn't believe it. You cannot process, well, I couldn't in my head, that I had actually seen what I have thought about for years, and I always believed them, but believing them and seeing them face to face is an entirely different experience.
Why do you think that photos have been so hard to come by?
I think the reason why is because their survival depends on not getting caught or being seen, because someday some idiot is going to shoot and kill one just so they can say, oh, I've got a tooth or I've got a piece of hair or whatever it is. And, they don't realize that they live in family groups. And if they kill the leader of the family, what happens to the rest? And you know what? They cry just like we do. So if they would... somebody would kill, the head of the family, there'd be a lot of sad. Plus, there would be hell to pay, I can guarantee you.
Hey, so what was the situations in which you've heard Bigfoot cry? That's interesting.
Up in the mountains, my friend had heard them cry, and that was almost the same exact location where we were the first time. And she said when she got up there, it was dead silence. Dead silence, not a bird singing, not anything. And all of a sudden, she heard a baby cry. And there was a cave right up above her. And she said, a newborn cries different than a baby does at 6 months old. And she said that was exactly what she heard. And so she left because she thought Mama and baby would need some privacy now.
So, Harriet, you mentioned, there might be hell to pay if something ever happened to one, but also that, you've been up pretty close with them. In your experience, are they largely peaceful and don't really just kind of don't want to be bothered and don't want to bother anybody? Or what do you know about kind of their demeanor?
Or diet? That's what I would be afraid of.
Yeah, well, their diet is mostly deer and other little animals and fish and snakes and turtles and stuff like that. But it doesn't consist of people, fortunately. And I think that they are basically peaceful. They don't want trouble any more than we do. And I know the kids, they like to play tricks on you. They do that to me every now and then.
Hold on. What
kind of tricks are the little, or
they're like little pranksters?
Yeah, I mean, it's nothing dangerous and it's nothing that would hurt you. But the first thing I remember was we were camping up in Colorado, and as we were out walking, through the hills, there was, pieces of wood and stuff like that, branches that had broken off the trees. And so we'd always pick them up as we walked. And then when we got back to our campground, to the tent, we'd stack them all nice and neatly on the right-hand side of the tent. And then that night, when we were going to have a campfire, we'd have plenty of fuel for the fire. And so one day we had a nice, neat little stack. It was all neat and orderly. And I was the first one out of bed. And I got up and walked out the front of the tent. And I just happened to look around and I go, darn it. Our whole pile of wood was completely gone. I couldn't believe it. And the girls just now, then they were getting up and I said, look at our whole pile of wood's gone. And I looked to the left-hand side. There it was on the left-hand side of our tent, and it was stacked up nice and neat and even. And that was what they did. It was a prankster. And, you know, it didn't hurt anything. Nobody got hurt. And it was really funny. And, you know, they did that overnight while we were sleeping.
So I'm curious, because you seem to, and some of your friends have seemed to garnered such trust. Is it because they know that they get the sense, or you guys have talked, that they know you're not going to take photos?
Well, I don't even think it's necessarily photos. I think they know that we're not going to hurt them. And that covers photos and a lot of other things. And, you know, it's just like any friend that you would have personally. It takes you a long time to develop a best friend and, you know, trust and everything and experiences. And that's exactly the way they are, I think.
Interesting.
So, Harriet, I am kind of curious do you feel like you've run into the same, is it Bigfoots or Big Feet? I want to get it right here. The same.
Well, I just say Bigfoot. I mean, if you were talking perfect English, it would be feet. But...
Okay. So do you feel like you've run into the same individuals on multiple occasions? Like, can you know, I see these videos of people that raised lions growing up. They take them back into the wild and they recognize them immediately. And I'm like, I don't know, that's just like a regular lion to me. How do you tell that's yours? Like, can you tell the difference? Do they have kind of unique markings or personalities you can identify?
I think some of them kind of have the same mannerisms, and I'm sure a lot of the readers know Ron Moorhead. And, you know, a long time ago, he had one up in the mountains in the Sierra Nevadas, and I thought that he said that they would see him a lot, and then, and he kept coming back, and then that Bigfoot would yell, so Ron would yell, and they'd kind of have a contest yelling back and forth, not growling or to hurt him or anything, but they did that, and then Ron, he would eat apples, and he'd go sit on a tree that had fallen down, and he'd eat an apple every day. And before long, a Bigfoot started watching him eat that apple, and then I heard that he went and sat down on the end of the tree, and then Ron held his hand out, and the Bigfoot took the apple out of his hand, and he ate it.
Oh.
But you know what? That takes a long
I'm not sure I'd be interested in picnicking with Bigfoot. How long would that take?
Oh, I don't know, but I'd do it in a heartbeat, I'll tell you.
So Harry, I'm curious. I'm sure you run into skeptics all the time. People that, you know, hear the stories and they're like, oh, you know, it's, you know, I'm sure they have all sorts of names for you, and they hear them and they think it's kind of nonsense or whatever. What do you say to those people? I mean, obviously, it sounds like you were a skeptic at one time too, when your friend took you and kind of called the Bigfoots down from the mountain. Like, what do you say to people that kind of look at you with a little bit of a funny look and say, kind of, what are you talking about? Like, what do you say to those skeptics?
You know what? It doesn't bother me one single little teeny tiny bit. And, you know, I don't argue or I don't fight or anything like that, you know, and people can have their own opinion, but I'll tell you what, all you have to do is have one face-to-face encounter, and that changes your whole opinion in about 2 seconds.
Couple quick things. I want to get to the book before we let you go, because I think you've kind of got a book that we maybe can talk about. But I've got one of our listeners who's followed you almost everywhere you've been that wants to know if you've mended the relationship with Kenny and how you guys are doing, since he used to kind of help you out get that convention started.
He lives this was his home, was Estes Park, Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
And so he goes there a lot, and I haven't seen him for quite a while now. So.
Oh, okay. And yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay. How about the book? What do you think? Talk to us a little bit about what you're thinking with the book.
Well, I had written a book a couple of years ago, and it was talking about the phenomenon that the Bigfoot are braiding the U.S. flags all over the entire United States. And I wrote a book about that, and people really seemed to like it, I think. And that was another thing. When I started writing it, it was so far out that I could not believe it. And I always thought, and I still do, if I couldn't believe my own book, how in the world do I ever expect other people to believe it? And anyway, I had one flag. That was all I had, and I had braided horsehairs, and I could compare those, and they were identical. But I tell you what, in about 2 years' time, I now have 51 flags that are braided. One's from the state capitol here in Lincoln, but I have flags from Colorado, Kansas, Missouri, one other state, Iowa, and they're all absolutely identical. So that was my first book. The second book I stumbled on by accident, which I totally didn't know, was the fact that they found a giant in Guide Rock, Nebraska. That was about around 100 years ago now.
I got a dog from Guide Rock once. That's interesting.
Oh, a greyhound?
Nope, it was a little Frenchie.
Oh, a Frenchie?
Yeah.
That's my favorite dog.
All right, that's why we get along.
Yeah, no kidding. But anyway, and I used to spend a lot of time in Guide Rock because my mom married a man that was a farmer down there. And I hiked, I went camping, I went fishing. What I was doing is I was looking for arrowheads because Chief Red Cloud, the Indian, in the 18 and 1900s, he brought a band of his Indians from Ogallala to Red Cloud every single year, and they went on buffalo hunts, and they would get enough buffalo that would feed their entire tribe for the winter. And also they have, clothes and moccasins and hats and teepees and all that kind of stuff. So I was in Guide Rock a lot, and I never in my wildest dreams ever expected that there would be a giant there. And I just learned of that just a little over a year ago, and that one really blew me away. And so I've been doing a lot of research on him, and I found there was not only one, but there was 100 other skeletons in that area, and they were all giants. And then I just found out a few months ago there was another tribe of giants in that same area, probably within 5 miles of each other, and they had 100 giants in their group also. And so it's really hard to find information because it's a lost tribe, and everyone that remembers, when they have the big celebration for the 50 years of the dam in Guide Rock, everybody is dead and gone now. And so, it's really hard to track down information, but I tell you what, I'm going to do it for sure.
All right, well, you keep us in the loop.
Yeah, I don't know how long it'll take. I was hoping a year, but I don't know. It's very time consuming.
Well, keep us posted. You let us know when the book is done. We'll have you back on because we're out of time, but I've got so many more questions about giants than I even did about Bigfoot. So we'll definitely have you back on. And if you want to know more, if you want to meet Harriet, go head out to the Bigfoot Crossroads Museum in Hastings. You can go hang out and find out more. Hey, Harriet, we appreciate the time as always.
And don't forget our conference for next year.
You got it. I appreciate it, Harriet. Thank you.
Okay, thanks for having me.
That's Harriet McFeely. That's the Bigfoot lady and now the giant lady, apparently, as well. Guide Rock, Nebraska. It's funny because Frenchies are small dogs.
I know.
They're not big dogs.
I
Great Dane would make more sense than Guide Rock with the giant history there.
Oh, why did she suggest Great Danes?
I think she said Greyhound.
Oh, Greyhound.
I don't know where Greyhound came from. Maybe she thought you took the bus out there. Not my kind of Indians in Guide Rock, though. Different kind. We'll be back tomorrow. More Hurrdat Sports Live.
See you. Have a good day. Love you.